boys are going to bring the heat today.
As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys. Hey, you're muted.
Damn! Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff, Booner, Lukas. It is Monday, April 7th. We are back. It's Mock Draft Monday. Coming off kind of a long weekend. I know Friday we were downtown for opening day. Got to talk to a lot of listeners down there. Went to the Pistons game, met some more listeners. It was a great weekend. We are back for another edition of Mock Draft Monday, fellas. We're getting closer. A couple weeks. And we get Mel Kiper and Brad Holmes.
Yeah, at least Mel Kiper will have his mic unmuted when he's talking, which is a positive for him. So, I do it all the time.
I was gonna say it's tough coming from you, Boone.
I do it all the time. And listen, it's contagious. You know what I mean? By the way, I just want to address this right off the bat. I'm having mic issues. Mic is off the stand. Stand is gone. It's gone for the day. Can you guys hear? Can you guys see me?
Yeah, it got glitched for a second. Yeah. Good, Boone.
I don't know what's going on. You know what I think's happening right now? I have the national championship game on, so I think my whole setup is just falling apart.
Just overstimmed, Boone.
Well,
what is it
happening?
There's a packed week. I mean, the Tigers. I mean, they're playing really well. I mean, they won today. We watched. We were there on opening day watching the game against the White Sox. Won some money on some home run hitters. Went to the Panthers game. Had a great time at Ford Field. You know, got to experience that once again, which will be every home game covering the Panthers this year. So it's fun, man. Go to a Panthers game. It's not expensive. You get to watch some football. You know, we got to see some these former NFL players playing. Matt Corral was slinging the rock, former second-round pick for the Panthers. So, you know, we had a packed weekend, and now we're back.
Matt Corral looked good too.
Yeah, he did. He did. We got to go to the post-game press conference. Got to see Matt Corral. I mean, it's a pretty packed weekend for the fellas, man. But we are back. Long weekend, but we are back. And like I said, mock draft Monday, man. So later, I already gave away my mock draft. I have a player today, boys. I don't think you guys know who this player is.
Okay.
But I have a crush on this player. And
okay.
I'm excited to bring him to the table. All right. Did my research on him. I'm fired up about it. And you'll get to see the fellas as well. But before we get to
about that.
But before we get to all that, we're going to get to some Tigers. We'll talk some Tigers today. We also have a quote from an anonymous executive in the NFL throwing shade at the Lions. We'll get to that later. We weren't able to get to that on Thursday, but we're definitely getting that today. And then I have a thing on Brad Holmes because it is very known that he loves players that he brings in for a top 30 visit. So today we're going to look at some top 30 visit guys and see. Maybe foreshadow a little bit who could become a Lion in about, 2.5 weeks? I mean, it's flying now. I mean, and by the way, look forward. We'll have a show for the draft. We'll get the location, all that stuff figured out. So stay tuned for that because I cannot wait. It's going to be a huge draft, even though it's in Green Bay, but we'll be at a bar somewhere doing a show. So I cannot wait for it.
Be a good time.
By the way, knowing in my head, thinking about some top 30 visits that the Lions have had, I would have to think that Klotz isn't going to be a big fan of who's on that list. So,
I looked at it, and there's a couple names that I do like, but there's one name that I'm just really hoping.
But we're talking about first round.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if there's any that it's like, oh, for you.
Yeah, it's fair. If they trade up 20 picks, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
And go. Well, I don't want to give it away. We'll get to it. Yeah. Go get a player that could be a little controversial. But you know what came out over the last couple of days, by the way? Aidan Hutchinson running full sprints. I mean, this dude looks like a man on a mission. I mean, look at this. Look at this guy, dude. I mean, he is soaring, right? Look at this. I love this video to me is so funny.
Is the video? Is the sound up on this?
No. Let me turn the sound up.
You got to turn the sound on because you hear Hutch. I mean,
NFL quarterbacks are screwed. they are screwed. This dude looks great. All right,
Jaden Daniels saw this and was like, "Oh no, well, I thought we had our chance." Jalen Hurts is like, "Oh, good thing we got our Super Bowl."
He does
Joe
look like
Tooney's
Forrest.
sweating too.
He does look like Forrest Gump a little bit.
Yeah.
Forrest for Alabama. He does look like Forrest.
Just flying down.
Yeah.
Great movie, all-time movie.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, looking at all the videos of this man running, he does not look like he's gonna. There's no waiting for this dude. He'll be fine.
He looks like he's like on almost 100%. Like he has what is it? It's April, January, March, April, May,
OTAs,
June, July, August.
Mhm.
There's 5 months until the season.
Ugh.
That math in
care
months
of
by me was just brutal. I don't know if you boys noticed that.
Yeah, that we got what you're saying. We got what you're saying. I'm the NFL season can't come any quicker. I know we'll have the draft, but then after that, it's just like we'll talk about the draft. We'll recap it, discuss everything, and then you have OTAs, and then you have that like June, July period where it's just like sucks. But you'll have the NFL, you have the playoffs coming up for the NBA playoffs. So the Pistons will be in it. They secured a playoff spot, so that's big time. So I'm we got a lot of besides the Lions, we have other sports we're going to cover here. I mean, especially with the Tigers, because the Tigers are playing pretty well right now, boys, and not just playing well.
Hey,
but go on.
Before we go to the Tigers, can I play a video for you boys?
Go ahead, Boone.
Yeah, let me see this video.
I put in the prep. I got a surprise for the fellas.
Let me see. What do you got?
I don't think any of the boys have seen it because I never came across my phone from one of you guys. I think the people have to see this video. This is something serious here.
This is something. So help me God. If it's a Giovanni Manu workout video, I'm going to lose my mind.
It's not only Giovanni Manu.
Another one.
But it's Giovanni Manu and Taylor Decker together. Hey, look at this. Look at this. Taylor Decker with Gio. With Gio.
You know what that is? That's Gio just lifting up Myles Garrett. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Look at this. Look at Taylor. Do you think Taylor Decker's done yet, Klotzy? Look at this. Hey.
I mean,
both the Klotzy's guys, huh?
I mean, is this dude doing 100-pounders? I mean, this guy is different. Hold on.
I mean, this is unbelievable.
I mean, Klotzy, keep sleeping.
Look at him. Look at Gio.
Keep sleeping, Klotz.
Oh,
you might miss it. You might miss greatness. Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, Klotzy, keep sleeping because you're going to miss greatness. I'm telling you right now. You're going to miss greatness and you're not listening. You're hearing me, but you're not listening.
You're hearing me, but you're just not listening.
Giovanni Manu.
Good nap.
I'm telling you.
Talk some relevant content, eh?
That's the most relevant it gets. Klotzy, listen, you of all people have been the one that's like questioning Taylor Decker and Gio. And look at these guys are working.
I'm not doubting they're not working. I'm doubting their ability to play in big time games when it matters most at both their points in their career. So Taylor Decker has been very fine lineman for the Lions for almost a decade now. Drafted in 2016, I want to believe. Been very good for the last 7-8 years. But Taylor Decker is going to hit that point. He's playing left tackle. We've seen the struggles already. I'm getting ahead of it. And Giovanni Manu, guys. Giovanni Manu. Probably moving to guard at this point. And what do we say that the Detroit Lions need to do this year after they have somebody like Christian Mahogany pop up? Still need to draft a guard. So Giovanni Manu going to have to show me. He's the Broderick Martin of the offense side of the football until proven otherwise. I am sorry. Didn't even dress this year. Not once. And I know it was a year where he's going to redshirt, progress. But now he's got 3 years. He's got to do something this year, year 2. If he doesn't year 3, they're going to find a solution. So I am not at all getting my hopes up for Giovanni Manu.
Red shirt year. You got to respect the red shirt year. You have to respect it.
Okay.
You have to. It was, and I'll admit, like I was wrong with Broderick. I respected the red shirt year though. You always do, especially late round pick. After the first 2 rounds, I think you have to respect the red shirt year. 3rd and beyond, respect the red shirt year.
3rd and beyond. Okay.
You know what? Why not?
Imagine it. By the way, have you seen it? I don't even know why we haven't even talked about it. What's his name? Bald, nice beard. Andrew Whitworth.
Yeah.
Andrew Whitworth.
Very, very good.
Put out there
tackle.
And he started to push out there, NFL, it's time to make an offensive line award. And it's starting to gain some traction. It is. And Penei, I think they should backtrack and give out the award to all the former winners. Penei Sewell deserves 2 of them. Minimum.
Yeah, they should have. I mean, they have an award for everything. I mean, comeback
the big
player
fellas
of the
just
year.
don't get any love.
They need an offensive line award. They have a defensive line. Defensive line and defensive players can win an award. Offensive players can win an award, but offensive line's excluded. MVP, it's quarterback award, comeback player of the year award, offensive and defensive rookie. Like if an offensive tackle comes into the league and he allows like 1 sack and he's excellent all year, why can't he be in consideration for offensive player of the year? You know what I mean? Or offensive rookie of the year or offensive player. You know, they don't have stats, but they should have their own award. Offensive line of the year award, or name it something clever. And, you know, Penei might take home like 5 of them things.
Yeah, add that to the resume.
Especially when these guys are trying to make it to the Hall of Fame. They have to have something other than All Pro or Pro Bowl. You got to have some award they can win. You know what I mean? It just makes sense. So,
well, especially when you're like trying to say who is the greatest offensive linemen of all time. Like, not like, yeah, they make the Hall of Fame, but like the greatest ever to do it. Like, imagine an offensive lineman stacks up like 4-time offensive lineman of the year. Like, that's like winning like the offensive player of the year 4 times. Like, that's significant. If someone has that on the resume, you're sitting there going, dude, you were the best offensive lineman in your career, number 1 overall 4 times. Like, that's – and Penei probably would – Penei would at minimum have 1, and you could argue have 2 of them already. And he's what, 25, 26?
Yeah, but think of all the ones that like Lane Johnson, Trent Williams, like these guys all like in recent history, they probably like all these guys they should have all gotten some type of award. So I hope they do. I think it makes a ton of sense, especially for, like I said, rookies that come in. Like there's going to be some offensive linemen this year that are really good out of the draft. Like they should be in consideration for something.
You do get into a tough spot though. You're looking at like, all right, tackles probably, and it would be like the MVP, like quarterbacks turn into winning that. It would be like tackles would probably just take over that award.
Tackle and centers, yeah. I bet there'd be some center like like Jason Kelsey probably would have won a couple.
But like Quentin Nelson in his like back when he was the best, like one of the best players in the league or best offensive lineman in the league, like he probably could have stole something.
I couldn't see Frank ever winning one just because of
at this point now.
Yeah,
and even before. There's usually like we talk about. There's like 2 or 3 really good centers in the NFL that at least get noise.
Yeah, it'd be like Creed Humphrey, Frank Ragnow.
But like, I just can't see like those guys being like, oh, they're tiers better than Lane Johnson
Jason
or Trent
Kelsey.
Williams. Yeah, it's just such a like. That, I mean, it would still be a sick award. Like they need to make that happen like next year. I think that should be a thing.
Yeah, you know what's happening this year? Tigers are buzzing right now, boys.
Oh,
you know what my favorite thing about the Tigers is right now? Well, the obvious would be the resurgence of Spencer Torkelson through the short span of the season so far, and he's playing really well. I think he's like top 17 in OPS. But on top of that, you know what the Tigers' offense is right now? They're top 5 in batting average. You will take that as a Tiger top 5 in batting average. I know the White Sox series. We actually watched the game, not at Comerica, but we were in Detroit watching it. But you watch over the weekend, like, yeah, they all played well. Torque, we won some money on a Torque bomb. But regardless, like, I don't care. They're top 5 in batting average, dude. And if Torkelson looks like this for a majority of the year, they're going to win the AL Central. Like, he is the X factor to me. If he turns his game up to what you thought he would be, he is like the X factor on this team. Like, Riley Green's playing well. They got Casey Mize back. He's playing well.
Played really
I know
good today.
Skubal is going to eventually get into Skubal form.
Yep.
But if Torque looks like this Torque, which we don't have evidence to suggest he will throughout the entire season, but let's say hypothetically he does, this could be a really good baseball team, boys.
Dude, this week, I mean, by the way, too, like opening day, there was so many people down. Like, I know every year there's a lot of people. It felt like this year there was a little bit more of like of a buzz, obviously coming off like the playoff run, and like just walking downtown. Like, I mean, we would try to get food after the game was over, and it was like it was impossible to even get food. Like, there was just so many people, all of the tents and the parties, everything. It was packed downtown. It was actually like from last year to this year, you could tell a significant difference. Like, of the buzz in the air. Like the Tigers are back and they're playing like very, very good baseball. Especially like, I mean, you're coming off the Dodgers one. It's like they've won 4 straight now. They've won like, what was it? What was the stat I put in the 6 of their last 7?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're playing good ball right now. And like if not even Torque, I don't know if you guys have seen like Javi Baez, like out of anyone.
I was just about to
out of
say
anyone. Like Javi Baez is just like, it's not that he's just playing good in the field, which I feel like he's always been good in the field. Like El Mago, you see it in the chat there, Xavier D. Like he's always been very good in the field, but it's like the man has just strikeouts. He's been getting hits. Like he's been playing well. And obviously it's like, well, what we're 8, 9 games in, 10 games in. So it's like, all right, this is a very long season. Like things can turn quickly for guys. But if Torque and Javi, like they don't even have to be great, but like when Javi's numbers called, like you're not going to start in every game, but when your number's called and you step up, if you could do that for this team, buddy, like this team's going to be tough to beat in October. Like that's just a fact. Like you almost made a run last year. You won a series and went on a run last year. If you have guys like Javi Baez and Spencer Torkelson playing well in October, I know it's April, so long season. But oh my Lord, like if Colt Keith is struggling a little bit, if he starts playing well, Kerry Carpenter, he's hitting bombs, but he's struggling a little bit in batting average. Like if these guys start picking it up and playing their games, and you get these other guys, like this is a scary ball club. It really is, dude. I'm kind of pumped up though. They just beat the Yankees today, and it felt like it was like a dominant win. It really did.
Especially the Yankees were looking fucking sloppy, and the Tigers, I think they were aggressive today, obviously off their airs, but at the beginning of the season, like their at bats outside of like Henry Malloy, shout out, probably my favorite player on the Tigers right now, not the best, my favorite. Like he's not an aggressive like to lead off, but he's taking a lot of pitches, and that makes it for Green, Carpenter, all those boys. The pitchers are worn out, so then that way they can just play aggressive. So it seems right now, at least like you were saying, but long season. But everybody on the Tigers seems to know their role, and they're not trying to do too much. Maybe Colt Keith a little bit. But again, it's the first part of the season. There's no reason if this team, I don't know if they'll be able to keep up this well of bats, but if they're able to keep this up, like you said, Jeff, they're winning the Central, and you're going to be looking at another playoff push in Detroit with the Pistons, with the Lions. Like, it's a great time. Red Wings are possibly sneaking in, but to see the Tigers like actually look like a legitimate organization, I feel is like that final cherry on top, because that's the oldest team in the city, boys.
Can I say something too? And listen, I know we're 10 games in, whatever it is, so I don't want to like get on my high horse here. Oh, I was right. But, and Jeff, I think you may remember this. And shout out Caleb. Caleb, our Tigers guy, he kills it. He kills it. I feel like it was like this for a lot of Tigers guys going into the season. This is something like that I noticed with the Lions a couple years ago when they remember when they started 1-6 and then finished the season, where was it, 9-2, 9-3, and you're like, okay, they know how to win now. And you go into next year and you're like, hey, it just takes like a team and an organization to get that feeling and to like, this is how you win. This is how you get it done, to be able to turn it around. And that was something like preseason or spring training. Really, when we had those conversations, Jeff, I think me and you hopped on the Saturday show with Caleb and we were talking Tigers, and it was like, what are our expectations? And Caleb, and it seems, again, it's not just Caleb, but it felt like this with everyone that covered the Tigers, to where they were a little like on the edge. Like, I don't want to be the one to say, hey, they're going to go on another run this year. They're going to be great again. And everyone was like a little scared to be like, oh, it's a legit team. Like, they know how to win now. They're young, because they didn't go out and make those big moves. I was like, boys, like when a team like this, when you have guys like Riley Green, I know Torque wasn't the best last year, but he gets a little bit of a feeling on it. Kerry Carpenter, Justin Henry Malloy, Colt Keith, Tariq Skubal, like when those guys get that winning feeling and you get to see, hey, this is what it takes to win in this league, that changes everything. Like, I don't think people realize that. It changes everything. It's not just like, hey, how good are you on the field? It's like situationally, like today, like knowing when you have to step up and make a big play in a game. Like the other night that we watched the White Sox game, boys, or I mean, it was on Sunday actually, where they win the game in the bottom of the ninth. Like those types of games you win because you learn how to win. Like you get that feeling and you're like, situationally, I know what to do. No one really, it felt like not a lot of people wanted to give them that credit going into the season because they didn't go get a big at bat or they didn't land Alex Bregman. But it was like, boys, like, they know what it takes now. Like they have the lineup and they know what it takes. They have the pitching staff. And that's why I was like you're looking at it now. Like they're obviously, what is it, 6-4 right now. And they're winning baseball games and they're playing the Yankees. They played the Dodgers. They should have won a game versus the Dodgers and got screwed out of that. So I think like hopefully some of these people are starting to see it a little bit more like, hey, this is a legit team who can compete down in October. And it's like if they start to get hot, watch out, boys. That wasn't a victory lap from Boone. That was like literally being I don't know why people – I just don't know why people who cover the Tigers were so scared to say that.
I think it's weird. It's tough when you discuss like, the Tigers, especially with how they're running from the top, how they're running their organization to sell fans on like winning a World Series one day because they're not spending money. Like I completely understand that.
Yeah.
And I get it. In baseball, you need to spend money. Okay. And clearly Chris Ilitch has demonstrated that, they're not really spending money, but we do know this bullpen is excellent. And we know offensively, we know how they're going to win games, right? Great bullpen. And then you have timely guys that can make timely plays, especially in the postseason. And if you have Torque playing the way he's playing, which you need a bigger sample size, but Javi through a small sample size, kind of looking like pre-Tigers Javi. Like I know with Detroit, it's been awful, but the way he's playing so far, if you can have some guys step up, I'm not saying this team's going to go out and, mess around, make a World Series, but I can see not only the playoffs, of course, but I can see kind of like last year where they, they go on a little run. It's fun. Like it's okay to look at a team that's going to make the postseason. Like the Detroit only has what the Pistons made it. The Lions have made it. And then if the Tigers make it, like, let's just start on a smaller scale here where it's just fun. It's fun to watch them. And I think that's where Tigers fans are a little hesitant. If you have Torque playing this way, man, like the over-under was what, 80, what was it? 80 something?
82.5.
Like they're going to hit that over, bro. I like just based on how they're playing right now. They needed to get smacked in the face by LA to start the year. They needed to get smacked in the face, and now they're starting to click.
And that helps them for this series when you're playing the Yankees, because those are probably, at least coming in the season, you're looking at those two as like the heavyweights. So for them to have that little break against the White Sox, who they could beat up on, and the White Sox did look better from last year. They didn't look like a complete joke. Like they had some good moments in there. Like they're starting off the season tested. So that way when they start going into the Central a little bit more, like, I don't know, like the Royals, they're there. The Indians are going to be there, but there's no reason this Tigers team can't win the Central. And again, they learned how to win in the playoffs last year. I know people are complaining about Chris not spending money and stuff, but I mean, at the end of the day, like if they're looking pretty good, it will probably open up his mind a little bit for Ilitch and the boys to start spending some fucking money finally.
So the AL Central right now, they are currently the betting favorites at plus 170. The Minnesota Twins are next at plus 270. And like to put that into context, like look at the AL East with the Yankees. The Yankees are plus 100 to win their division, and the Tigers are plus 170. So they're like right there in a spot to where it's like they should win their division. And it's like just keep doing what you're doing. And when you have series you're supposed to win, like the White Sox, like one of the worst teams in baseball, they're down, they're losing. It's like, hey, you can't lose these games. And then guess what? They come back and win in the bottom of the ninth. And it's just like it's what that team does, man.
Yeah, I mean, you know what you're getting out of this pitching staff with Chris Fetter, but it's just I want to see the Javi Baez and Torque storyline over the next like couple of weeks and see how that ages. I really am rooting for Torque, man. I know Caleb actually I have Caleb's Torque jersey right behind me over here, so in honor of Torque, we'll see.
And boys, like
hang that.
Gleyber Torres is hurt. Gleyber Torres is hurt right now, and like Carey's not batting the best. Colt Keith's not playing the best. Like you have guys that are playing that good and guys that are hurt still, and you're sitting there and you're like, Matt Vierling's hurt. McKinstry's not playing. It's like, dude, Riley Green could be in the MVP conversation at some point this year. Like you're really looking at it and you're like, all right, like this is a legit squad. I know they got swept by the Dodgers, but again, there was probably a game they should have won. Fully healthy, that team. Parker Meadows is on a 60-day IL. Like, boys, Parker Meadows, your starting center fielder. Like he's wait till he comes back. Like once this team gets full force and everyone starts playing well, and you have this, like, I mean, this is a team that the teams are not like contending teams in October are gonna be like, I do not want to play the Detroit Tigers. Like we do not want to play those gritty Tigers, man.
No, those gritty Tigers, man. It's fun. I love it. And now we're at a spot where we're looking at the Red Wings going,
I can't wait till Parker Meadows gets back. Yeah, the win.
You're looking
Red
at the
Wings. They got 4 left, and they got to win.
No, I
think they control their own destiny, but I think they play like, who is it? I think
I don't-
Ottawa. Like they gotta like. Go ahead, Boone.
No, I was just saying. I saw Mark. Who's it? Mark Ryan, is it?
Yeah.
He tweeted out. Let me just pull it up real quick because it'll be easier so I don't mess up the numbers. Because Klotz, I think you're like on the right track here. I don't think they control their own destiny, but
they need things to fall their way.
Why is he not popping
Ottawa
up?
than they do or something like that.
Does anyone have his Twitter? Why is his thing not popping up? Oh, here it is. Oh, I spelled Mark. It's Mark with the C, M-A-R-C, not M-A-R-K.
Shout out Mark Ryan, dude.
Yeah, great guy. He tweeted out. Where was it? April. Oh, right here. Here it is. April 6th. Detroit. The Red Wings have a 93% chance to make the playoffs if they win their remaining games, and if they lose one game, they have a 70% chance. And they currently, Klotzy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 6 games left. So if they go 6-0, but they play like the schedule is like
if
it's
5-1 even. I mean, my gosh.
I think every team they play
games against the Rangers too, and they would be like with this Red Wings team, they'd go 5-0 and face off with the Rangers because the Rangers are out. I'm pretty sure. Again, so I could be wrong on this, and that'd be the team they drop it to.
They play Montreal, great team. Florida, Stanley Cup champs. Tampa Bay. Good team. Dallas, good. New Jersey. I don't know about how New Jersey is. And then they finish it. It's Klotz. It's Toronto, which is like, that's in Toronto too.
5-1 even, dude. It's probably 4-2 for being honest. 3-3.
Yeah.
Best case.
Yeah, that's I mean, now the spotlight's on the Wings, man.
We gotta have Unk on for a show.
He's been real quiet
on the stand.
Yes. I would like to know, like, I don't want to ask him now. I want to, like, when do these, I should ask D-Mac on Friday, but, like, when do these Yzerman questions start to, like, hit the front page? I love Steve Yzerman. Growing up watching him.
Next year he's going to have the hottest.
Hey. Stevie Bob.
I think next year it's playoffs or you got to.
Or he's out. Yeah. I think it's like you have to make the playoffs next year.
Yeah. There's no excuse, man.
Because what is it?
I feel like you said that this year. It's like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's in year 7 already?
Year 6 this year, I think. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
I think
it's year 6.
That's
20.
I thought it was like year 4, year 5.
But to be fair, like in hockey, it's not like NBA or football where you get 3-4 years. In hockey, you do have like it's a lot of development. Like when you draft, you guys don't come up for 4 years, so you really do have to wait a little bit. But
he's drafted.
Not even.
Well. He's drafted.
Yes,
well.
but not even touching the playoffs, and you're in year 6. That is, especially when you have guys like Larkin and Raymond and DeBrincat and Patrick Kane, like.
Yeah,
no cider.
You hire a new head coach, and then you fire him mid-season. Like it, after a year and a half. Yeah. Well, let's get to an organization that actually has been winning, although they've been a laughingstock, ironically, before all these teams, and it's the Lions. And Eric, Lucas's favorite guy, Eric, he tweeted out. Someone asked him about like how often do the Lions draft guys that have visits. Because it was just a random question. Curious, Brock asked, curious if you have this info. How many of the Lions first-round picks in the Holmes era have been top 30 visits? He put out Lions first-round pick plus visit. So Sewell, obviously that was a COVID year, but Hutch, combine visit and top 30 visit. Gibbs, combine visit. Campbell, combine visit. And Terrence Arnold, top 30 visit. And then in 2024, top 30 plus drafted by Lions, Arnold, Rakestraw, Manu, and Vaki. So basically
also combine.
Also combine. So the point of this is if he's bringing you in for a top 30 visit or just a combine meet, then you're probably on his radar. Like, especially in the first round, by the way. I don't think that makes sense. I don't take Brad for someone that would draft a player if they haven't met with him. Like it's like the Laporta stuff, all the Inside the Den videos where they come out with like meeting with Laporta and they're just drilling them with questions. Like they have tons of that stuff. Like I'm pretty sure they met with
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, like Jahmyr. Same thing with Scotty Montgomery quizzing him and throwing questions at him. Like they obviously look at that. And I have combine. I want to get to first the top 30 because I have combine visits too. But Here's top 30 visits. This is on Detroit Lions on Sports Illustrated. So shout out to John Macaroon. But you look at some of the top 30 visits so far, very random. Chaz Chambliss, linebacker out of Georgia. Lan Larison, running back, UC Davis. Gray Zabel.
That's a big one to see there.
Offensive line, North Dakota State. Josiah Stewart, defensive end. More Sam, probably Sam linebacker in the NFL, but still. Out of Michigan. Ruben Hippolyte. The second. Linebacker out of Maryland. And then Shamar Stewart, defensive lineman. He's the only
earlier boys. I can't scream.
Besides Josiah, you can call a defensive lineman, but a true defense, the only true defensive lineman they've met with, Shamar Stewart, as a top 30 visit so far. Could be more, but this is it. And then they had some local visits, and they also had Josiah on there, but it's more guys locally. And then pro day visits, just kind of random. Deion Walker would be the notable one here.
Yeah,
Deion Walker, they did meet with at the pro day. But yeah, like Wayne State guys, Wake Forest defensive linemen, but like more of these guys that we don't really, not too many people are familiar with. But yeah, you look at this top 30 guys. Gray Zabel could be in consideration.
That's interesting.
Shamar Stewart could be in consideration. Josiah Stewart will be in consideration. And then you look at some of these other guys like Chaz. He's probably like a 5th, 6th round guy. Look for him. Maybe they draft another linebacker. Ruben Hippolyte, the second, could be a guy they take late in the draft. Like, these are names that probably and Steve says Hippolyte's probably a 4th rounder. But still, these are names, guys.
Keep an eye on.
Remember them, because they'll probably be lines.
Can I throw this out there too? And I said it a couple weeks ago, and then this is the reason I put him in my mock draft. I think it was last week I actually put him in there, and it was because of this specifically. Was Josiah Stewart, edge rusher out of Michigan. They have not only have they had the top 30 visit, Jeff, can you scroll down a little bit? What was it? A local pro day?
Yeah, the local day where they visit guys.
They did a local day, and then they did a remote or a virtual interview with him as well. So like Josiah, it's not just like one day with Josiah Stewart. They have done the local pro day with him. They've done the top 30 visit with him. I don't know about the combine. I believe he was at the combine. I don't know if they met with him. I don't know the combine list. But then they also did a virtual with Josiah Stewart. Like, to me, when you see, and you saw it there with like a guy like Vaki and some of those guys outside the first round, like meeting with those guys multiple times, especially an edge rusher in state when they probably got to see him a million times play football in Ann Arbor. They're probably very high on a guy like Josiah Stewart. And they're like, they might feel like, and I think he is. I think he's a guy that can come in day one and produce at the edge position for you. And Jeff, like you said, maybe Sam, but I even think like worst case scenario, like a 3rd down back to get to the quarterback on across from him and Hutch out there, get to the quarterback on 3rd down.
Just like Barnes does.
Like even if a Marcus Davenport gets hurt, I don't think you're in a bad position where if you have to roll with Josiah Stewart, I think day one stepping in, he would be able to step up and play some ball and get like some meaningful snaps. So like that's why I did it. I did it last week. I took him. I think it was 60th overall. He's probably going to be there at 60 unless the team really falls in love with him. But you can go in there and be like, yeah, I think like I almost want to be like it's almost a guarantee. I feel like I know it's not all guarantees, but I feel like that's the closest to where like if you're connecting the dots, Josiah Stewart to the Detroit Lions feels like that's one where it's like keep your eye on that because he's met with them 3 times now.
3 of Eric's that picks Eric listed were combine visits. I have the combine visits, formal meetings because we were at the combine.
These are also big ones. These are
huge. And this is A to Z Sports. Mike Payton wrote about this. And it's all the combine formal meetings. So you have look at Savion Jones, the
Mike Green,
edge, Mike Green, Jack Sawyer, Nick Scorton.
It's a big one too, Klotz.
Chris Paul. Paul Jr.
Chris Paul, yeah.
Auburn linebacker. They got some linebackers on here. Cody Lindenberg.
Kobe King. Keep an eye on Kobe King.
Yeah, Jahad Campbell's on here. They've met with him formally. Yeah, formal meetings. And then you have some more edges like Colin. They met with a lot of defensive linemen. At the combine. Colin Oliver, Howard Cross. They got Kenneth Grant.
I hope when they did their combine visit with Kenneth Grant that they were sold. That's why it's like, hey, we like Josiah Stewart. Let's get a little bit more intel. I hope they got all the intel they needed on Kenneth Grant. Like, all right, we'll trade up for him.
Yeah, imagine they get Kenneth Grant and Josiah Stewart, and then you have Hutch.
And
Klotz, I know you're an Ohio State man, but you have to admit in the NFL
now, Boone.
Man, that would be a
great offensive and defensive lineman. Don't care.
Yeah,
I mean, be a tough D line.
Andrew Makuba. They met with some safeties. Jonas Sanker. You got some tight ends on here as well. They met with some corners, guys that are probably going to be even wide receivers. I mean, look at these wide receivers.
Manor.
Yep. I mean, they have some good wide receivers on here as well.
Jalen Milroe.
Okay, all right.
Let's not skip over Jalen Milroe.
Donovan Jackson, offensive lineman.
Yeah, they've met with some offensive linemen. I mean, Jonah. Who offensive lineman everyone's loving in our chat. Eli Cox, Donovan, Charles Grant, Emory Jones, and other offensive tackles. So they've met with a lot of good prospects.
I think especially in the middle of the draft, watch out for Charles Grant too, because they took Colby Sorsdahl to William and Mary, so they obviously like what's going on there with their offensive lineman, and he's got forget the amount, but his wingspan is insane. I would not be surprised in the 5th round if Brad rolls the dice for Charles Grant.
Klotz.
They don't take a tackle early on. I wouldn't be surprised at all, Boone.
I'm just saying how you tell me all the time, hey, when I see the specific school, I'm out on them because they don't produce guys. Fair. When I see the Colby Sorsdale thing, I died on the Colby Hill for a whole year. Okay. And I thought this last year was the year he takes a step. And Christian Mahogany comes in and just passes him up instantly. Yode's playing over him. The man wasn't healthy. He was a healthy scratch almost every game. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to judge a guy just because of a guy that came from school. But there is that feeling where it's like, do we really need to just bring in another William and Mary? We know, like give me. I would trust a tackle or a guard from a Power 5 school.
What about a Mac?
Maybe. I mean, it just depends.
Rocket coming off the offensive line. Toledo Rocket?
Maybe it just it depends on that. The MAC is a different level, but like again, you don't see a lot of dudes come from the MAC and be dogs besides like the Khalil Macks, those types of guys.
Crosby.
Yeah, no, I'm saying there are guys, but like it's not like hey, like there's a higher hit rate of these SEC guys or Big Ten guys. I trust that a little bit more.
Yeah, like
Sean, the old act.
They've met also, and I misspoke today on my mock draft video, and I'll correct it here. But Tyler Booker, they've met with Tyler Booker. And his uncle, I think I said in the video his uncle played for the Lions. And what I meant was he played in Michigan. He played for Michigan State. So he played for the Steelers, but he played in Michigan State. His uncle was an offensive lineman, Ulyss Booker. So, and that's a player that I know, Klotz, you've had on your mock draft at 28. You traded back and got him. I'm opening my mind a little more, getting more comfortable with the idea that 28 or trading back, the first pick, we'll just say, if you're not getting a premier edge, let's say they're gone, there could be a possibility where maybe you do trade back and get like Donovan Jackson or a Tyler Booker, Gabe Zabel. Like you can get some of these really good offensive linemen. I mean, they've met with some. There's going to be some really good guards there. And honestly, if you're Brad Holmes and your quarterback's Goff, you want to protect him, and you know the interior offensive line. You have now a second-year player in Christian Mahogany, but Graham's, you don't really know what's going on with Graham. It'd be nice to just reset that position with a rookie deal, and you could still get a really good player. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Maybe you get a Donovan Jackson who could play tackle for you in spots, you know, like he played tackle during Ohio State's run, and he played against Oregon in that defensive line. So there's plenty of opportunities.
Played against Penn State. Like if you're, because who are the two defensive ends that sitting at 28 Lions fans are getting excited about, or you could possibly move up a little bit? James Pierce and Shamar Stewart for the most part. And yeah, they could fall. But there's also a world where both of those guys could be either the first defensive end taken off the board, or I won't even say top 15, I'll say top 16, because you look at Atlanta and Arizona, they're both going to go the defense side of the football. They need needs on defense. Atlanta doesn't have a true pass rusher. They lost Grady Jarrett. They don't have anybody out there. Same thing with Arizona. They got Jonathan Gannon. They traded away Zach Allen, which they never should have done. Neither of those teams have an edge, and they all have good quarterbacks in that division, or will be good quarterbacks. NFC South, maybe not so much. But when you look at James Pierce and Shamar Stewart, they're they're not going to be there 28. I understand with the James Pierce off the field issue, but I just don't see a way that James Pierce falls there. And same thing with Shamar Stewart. So now you're going to be looking at BPA. I wouldn't be mad at all if you were looking at an offensive lineman, when you look at this Detroit Lions team, if you take Donovan Jackson or Tyler Booker at 28, because you really, especially with those next teams up in that first round, especially like the Titans or maybe the Browns or the Giants, they take a quarterback. What are they naturally going to want to do? Protect them. So if you take those guys, I won't be upset at it, because there is a gap, I think, where in the late first round, early second round, there's going to be like those guards, the Ariante Ursis, the Donovan Jacksons, those type of players where they could start day one, and there's really not that much progression, or you could reach on a defensive end in a loaded defensive end draft. So if they take an offensive lineman at 28 or move back and take an offensive lineman with their first pick, not only is that kind of what I'm expecting, but I wouldn't be mad whatsoever, because time after time after time, Brad will wait in the draft to take the team need, and he'll go at it. Well, maybe not BPA, because I think there's a little flaw to that, because there could be some better players. Like if there's a Nick Emowari sitting there, you're not going to tell me he's better than Tyler Booker at that position. But there's definitely a world where Brad passes up on defensive end for the first pick, or maybe even two.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to look at it like in Klotz. I get what you're saying. The thing I don't want to look at, and it's like, this team needs this team needs this team needs this. Like, I kind of want to keep that mindset out for this draft. Like, I think last year's draft, I don't know about you guys, but like, I think it showed us, like, right now in the NFL, there is no guarantee on what can happen. So like, when I look at 28 for the Detroit Lions, and I think, Jeff, you put it very well. I think the big thing is if the board doesn't fall your way, and like Brad's guys are gone, or if, and it's not even really just him sitting at 28, and if it doesn't fall his way, it's if it gets to like pick 20 and all the edges are off. Like, I still think if you get to 20 and there are one, maybe two elite edge rushers where you're sitting there and you're like, okay, this guy's still there, you make that move. But if that doesn't happen, I think that's the big word for this draft. It's just like, if it falling your way, because like, Klotz, I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, Atlanta might need this. This team Cardinals might need this. I don't think so. Like, we've seen, like, last year, we saw so many teams, and we went into the NFL draft last year, and we thought, hey, the Colts need this. This team needs this at 12. This team needs a corner at 13.
True.
Nothing happened until pick 16, a defensive. It was all offense. And it could be opposite this year. It could go all defense, or this year, it could be quarterbacks. The running backs from Marion Hampton can jump up. You see, we could see a run on offensive line. There are a lot of offensive linemen in this draft class, and we could just see, boom, a run on them. So, like, I think it's just more so like, all right, how does this draft pan out? Is it started pan out offensively to where Brad, again, can do what he did last year with Terrion, and he could trade up instead of a corner? He can go up and get an edge rusher because this class is so elite. But then if the opposite happens and it starts, it's like, hey, defense is starting to really, like, there's a run on defensive players from, 7 to 15, 7 to 20. And you're sitting there and you're like, oh, no. That's when I think you get into a situation where you're like 28. Hey, we have some elite offensive linemen, whether it's like a Gray Zabel who could play a guard for you, or some of these guys who can move to guard. Like, you pull the trigger and you just say, let's get an offensive lineman, because that's like, I've said it for years now with this Lions team. That is the heart of your team. Like, your team starts in the trenches with the offensive line. And like, your team is good right now. This Lions team is good because of how good this offense is. And yes, you can make the argument then you need to build the defense to catch back up, but you need to keep what's great. And then let the defense catch up. So like, I've been saying it for weeks now, like, do not be surprised and don't sit there and be shocked and mad. And I know there's going to be people who do it. There's going to be people on air who do it. There's going to be fans that do it, but do not be mad when you see offensive tackle or a guard come across your screen at 28th overall. It can easily happen. And then, Jeff, I'm with you. Like, if you need to trade back and you feel like, hey, you can add assets in this draft or next year to still get your guy, then you make that move. Like, if Gray Zabel's available at 33 and you could trade back to 33 and make the move, then you do it. But I just think it's, and Justin said, Booner, you just don't know. Like, we don't know. We really don't know anything. We really don't. And that's where I think last year's draft really, like, punched us all in the face. But you have to be able to have these different angles and be like, okay, well, if it falls this way, do not be shocked if Brad says, let's keep this offensive line stout for the next 4 years.
It was like last year we had Dallas Turner going top 10 to the Falcons, and we had Michael Penix going, most had him going closer to the 20s, and it was opposite. Michael Penix
Latu going 12.
He went top 10, and then Dallas Turner went 19 or whatever it was, 17, 18, whatever the pick was. So yeah. You're right. Even these mocks, I mean, we can guesstimate, but is PFF the Bible for this? No. Jack Campbell was always there in the second round, and then he goes top 18, so it's like, none of this is, I mean, I don't have to tell the chat that, they already know, but none of this is official, man. None of this is official. Even when you try and project what players are going to do in the league, which ESPN did that. They went through
this
edges.
Is good.
This is interesting. I actually like this. Is a good find, Boone, because they projected all the top edges, what they'll look like their first 5 years. And I thought this was super interesting, actually. I went through it earlier. And basically what they do is they have this formula they use to project how a player is going to translate to the league. I don't even know. There might be something like, especially with where technology is moving, where like some front offices even use stuff like this to like try and project players. But ESPN has it where they project top edges, what they're going to look like their first 5 years. So let's take a look, and you'll see some players that could be Lions on here, and we'll see if ESPN has it correct, because they have Abdul Carter on here as the number one guy, and the projection for him, and he's number one, is 28 sacks through the first 5 NFL seasons.
Feels low, right?
What is up with this comp?
So what they do, and I read some of the beginning, is he mentions whoever wrote this and develops this basically uses, because he said like it might seem low, but you have to think like he even said in the article, like there's going to be seasons where they overperform, and there's going to be seasons where maybe they go long stretches without getting sacks, it's because like a mix of both. So 28 sacks through 5 NFL seasons. I mean, you're looking at like 5.5, basically 6 a year. Like that's not going to happen to Abdul Carter. Like he's probably, I mean, the dude could get 9.5 his first year. I mean, so Marcus Davenport probably isn't a good comp, but TJ Watt's on here too. So
Marcus Davenport comp and the TJ Watt comp, like where do those
opposite sides of the spectrum?
How does that even? That's shocking.
Yeah, I mean, to put this in perspective, and I'm not saying he's going to be it, but I was like, you know what? I don't think Von Miller as a rookie really did all that much. And I looked up his first 5 years, boys, 60 sacks. So that's like 12 a season. And he had seasons where he was like, let me look for you. Like even 11.5, 18.5, 5, 14, then
12
11.
a year. That's Hall of Fame numbers.
Look up Terrell Suggs, man. Terrell Suggs didn't have like a great dude. I mean, had some brutal measurables, not measurables, but testing. And he had like 20 sacks first 2 years.
Had 45.5 in his first 5 years.
Yeah. I honestly, and I'll say this.
12 as a rookie, 10.5, 8, 9.5, 5.
Yeah, I'll say I think Abdul Carter, and I think he's going to be a lot better than 28 in his first 5 years. I think this guy, like you'll minimum, in my opinion, like 40 sacks in the first 5 years.
Yeah,
I do agree. I think he's going to be very good.
Well, when you go to number two on this list, Shamar Stewart.
Oh, okay. Oh, this one's going to be interesting, class.
25.2 sacks through his first 5 NFL seasons. Similar historic prospects, Danielle Hunter.
I don't hate that as far as 25 through the first 5 years. That's 5 in a season. Like again, I don't think Shamar Stewart's going to be fucking ass. Like that's not what I'm saying. If Shamar Stewart was taken in the second round or third round, like Danielle Hunter was, great pick. But there's so much risk there that this could be the option as far as, he could go out there and give you 25.2, or that comes from in the first 5 seasons. Like that's definitely a realistic situation, but let's not act like it's a guarantee. Like lock it up, self-storage. Don't have to worry about it. You can just let that bet sit in there, that line sitting there for 5 years, and you're not sweating it. I think there's definitely some upside there, but there's also like he played with Nick Scorton, Walter Nolan, and other great defensive linemen in the SEC, and he pretty much had half a sack every year except for the year that he had 1.5 sacks. So we cannot sit here and act like, he's going to be Danielle Hunter. Name me somebody else besides Danielle Hunter who's been like that. Adafe Owe. Okay. Are you taking him in the first round? Very confidently, like we're going to make sure. So Shamar Stewart's an intriguing prospect that I'd like in the second round, but from the first round, that's where I start banging my head on the wall.
Hey, I have no comment. Just let Shamar do the talking at this point, man. I just like Jeff. I mean, I don't know where you're at with the Shamar thing. It's just there's really no like. I feel like it's just an.
It's basically the very simply put. Whoever's selecting them understands it is a massive risk.
There's a risk to it.
You have to be certain. It depends on like the philosophy of the GM. Like if the GM believes in like, okay, measurables, he checks every box. Like, can he be an exception? Because usually production is what you look at. I mean, when you're looking at guys, you're like, can this guy produce? But there are exceptions. It's like everything has an exception.
Yeah.
But it's basically, does the GM selecting him really believe that Shamar Stewart will be the exception? And if I'm picking top 15, I'm not taking him personally. But like it later in the first, I mean, I don't hate it. I don't. But there's still a massive risk. Like, I don't think I would say, oh, like Klotzy's more certain on the second round thing. Like, I think first round picks, you can argue. First round picks, you're trying to swing for the fences. And this is literally by definition, like swing for the fences pick. Like this dude, you have faith that this dude's going to translate like Danielle Hunter. But Danielle Hunter wasn't a first round pick. So you're hoping you get that value in the first round. Like he turns into like a 10, 14 sack guy at some point.
I think the ceiling, I'll say this is one of those things where it's like the ceiling is super high, but the floor right now it's low. And you're like, how can we get that floor up? And how can we get to this high to this as high, like the highest to the ceiling we can? And it's like, I've said it a million times with Shamar Stewart, boys. And he's one of those prospects to where he gets put in the right position. And I think there are like high level top 10 players to where anywhere they go, they're going to be great. But there are these round one picks where it's like, if they get in a bad position or a bad franchise that doesn't know what to do with them and doesn't know how to develop and career's over. But like a Danielle Hunter, good situation to start. But like Shamar, if Shamar gets in the right position with the right coach and the right franchise with the culture, put him next to another great edge rusher. Like there's a chance that he reaches that ceiling. But like there's no chance he reaches the ceiling, in my opinion, on certain franchises in the NFL, just because it's like they can't pull that out of anyone. But like this is a guy where you're taking a risk.
Yeah,
that's why it's tough. Top 15 is tough because those aren't the best franchises right now.
That's where we can all agree, whether you're lower or higher on them. The fact of the matter is, it's a risk. So whoever's taking the dude is signing up for either you're going to look like a genius or you're going to look like an idiot. There's literally no like in between. I mean, if he gets 25 sacks through 5 seasons, like, and it depends where he goes, but like that ain't really, it's like 5 a year.
But
I mean, you're taking
the conversation of like, you got to include this guy into, well, if he goes into a good situation, he's going to be really good. But if he goes into a bad situation, wouldn't you want to have somebody who would, regardless, be at least consistent? Like if he was in a bad situation, like let's say he goes to Carolina, can at least hold his own instead of looking like an absolute bust. Where if you
I don't think it's Klotz, I don't think it said he can't hold his own. I just think it's more so like I think he can hold his own, but we're talking about like reaching the ceiling. Like that's why I think, especially in like drafts, NBA, NFL, NHL, like those top 10 picks that are solidified, those are guys that were, no matter where you put them, like they're gonna produce no matter what. Malik Neighbors to the Giants, like you could put Malik Neighbors on any team in football, and he was gonna go out there and produce with any quarterback. He's that good. But then you look at a guy like your guy, like T-Mac. The reason he's not considered right now a top 10 is because he has to have a good quarterback, and you want to make sure he's in a good position to reach his ceiling. And I think it's with Shamar, like I think outside the top 20, that's why I don't have him going top 20, but outside the top 20, it's less of a risk. Like you're not getting a guy that's a top 10 edge rusher. It's like, hey, you're getting a guy with an insane ceiling, but you have to pull that out of him. That's why again, Klotz, like, I think your point, I think those are top 10, maybe 15 guys that you kind of pull that trigger on and you take the risk.
Yeah, there's GM, like it just depends on the GM. Like there's GMs that believe your first round picks need to be productive right away and contribute. And there's GMs that are like, hey, I'm not leaving the first without, unless this dude has a high upside. And to your point, Klotz, maybe there's players that produce that also have an high upside.
Yeah.
But maybe they look at this dude as like a specimen and they're just like, this dude in the NFL is going to be a problem. I don't know.
They're just not in the position where they need to take a swing. They need to fill a need. Doesn't have to be in the first round, but you don't have to swing for a home run and then be potentially in the same situation you are a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later.
Klotz, you saying those words right there, you set yourself up to get shot down and disappointed on draft night. They need to fill a need.
Absolutely. That's why I'm saying, like, they need to fill a need.
You got to get that
That's
out
why
of your
don't take a
vocabulary
risk
for Brad
on it.
Holmes.
I don't think they need to do, like, again, especially in the first 2 rounds, there are so many options there. Some are risk, but then there are some, like, for a Josiah Stewart example, who they've been showing interest to. Josiah Stewart played at Michigan. Yes, he was alongside Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham, but he's good against the run, gave you 8.5 sacks, and he's athletic, and you put him in this Detroit Lions defensive line, he's going to be able to hold his own, produce, and you can get him in the second round, and there's really no risk there. You know that he's going to be able to translate, most likely, because you can't, in the second round, you're not going to guarantee everybody. But in the first round, Shamar Stewart, you can improve your offensive line and get Josiah Stewart later, and you still fill that defensive line need, and you improved your offensive line in the meanwhile by getting a better prospect in that first round. So that's why it's like, I get the Shamar Stewart, you look at the ceiling, and I understand why it's attractive. But again, it's just at what cost? You've won at what cost?
I just can't fault. Like, I think Brad's going to be the same way. Like, I just don't think you could just have the mindset of, like, let's just fill the need O-line. Like, I just think if he thinks there's a BPA, like, he's going to do it. And Shamar, in my opinion, like, Shamar is going to be that guy. Like, if Shamar is available, which I don't think he will be, but if he's available, like, Brad's not gonna, and you might hate it, but like, it's a BPA pick. That's where it's like, I'm telling you, like, you're setting yourself up right now, like, to be very disappointed. And I think Jeff knows it too. Like, he's smiling over there. Like, you just know Brad. Like, I know you need offensive line. He, like, at what point, like, Klotz, I love you. Like, when are you gonna put you through your head? Brad does not care. Like, yeah, offensive line, but the only reason he would go offensive line is because the value of offensive line and how many good prospects there are in this draft there. But, like, if there weren't those prospects, we wouldn't be having the conversation like, he's going to draft offensive line at the end of the first. It's because there are good prospects that you could trade back for in the 30s to get. Like, that's why this conversation is brought up. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not you keep saying draft for need. It's not because of need. It's because of the players that potentially could be available. Shamar Stewart's available,
but I don't have to.
He might have him higher on the board BPA wise than he would a Gray Zabel, and like that's what you need to prepare yourself for, man. Like, I'm just telling you before you freak out on draft night.
We've watched Jack Campbell go off the board at 18. Like, I understand that that's how it goes, but I don't have to agree with it every time.
I don't say you have to agree with that. I'm just saying
Gray Zabel or Shamar Stewart. I'm taking Gray Zabel. Like, again, it's
okay. That's fine. That's fine. But again, you keep just the word where you saying draft for need. It's just like we gotta stop saying that because Brad's not doing it. Like,
I understand, but I'm saying the logical thing to do, in my opinion, is like, okay, we got Marcus Davenport out there at the starting defensive end spot. I want somebody who can give production more consistently year one than a risk.
Well, let's get to the next one here. So Shamar Stewart's projected number 2 on here. Number 3, Mike Green, 23 sacks through 5 NFL seasons, almost 24 basically. So
these are low. These are low projections.
Yeah, but Mike Green. We'll look at like top 3. These are guys they expect to translate top 3. So they have Abdul, then Shamar at 2. So they have him basically the second most productive, and then Mike Green at 3. So Mike Green, and then at 4, Donovan Izaraku.
I can get on the board with this.
So don't really look as much of the number, but more so where they're ranked in projections. So they think he's the 4th best through 5 years, basically. To take away the 19.5, but you know, he's up there. I haven't seen James Pierce yet. So Izaraku's top 4 on this list. Top 5 is Michael Williams.
It's kind of surprising.
Yeah, Michael's up.
Comes to sacks.
Yeah, he's up here. And then at 6, James Pierce. So, and then at 7, James Pierce makes the list. Oh, yeah, awesome. And then at 7, Jordan Birch.
18.6. Wow.
Yeah, some of these are just disrespectful. Like, what is that?
3
3 sacks through 5 seasons? 3 sacks a year? Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, there you go. Klotz, 3 sacks a year. How about that? Wait, didn't we have a bet with Jordan Birch? Didn't me and you have a bet with Jordan Birch? I think we had a pizza bet. I think you said that he was going to get like 6 or 7 or something year one or his first year. I think it was like 6 to 8.
I didn't say that, Boone. I don't recall. I'd be willing to put a pizza bet on Jordan Birch.
I think it was 6.
Who has more sacks, Shamar or Jordan Birch?
I do.
No, I don't want to do that because
why not?
I would rather just Jordan Birch. Just like
that one would be hilarious.
I think you said I don't know. You had like a very high number for Jordan Birch. I remember like it was like whoa, like might have been 7. We might have to go back.
I can see him getting 6, 7 year. If he's in a good situation with great people around him, I think he could get you 6.
I don't know why you're acting like me saying that is great. Like that's a legit argument.
Boone, it's not just you. Like it's just nothing.
Yeah, like Jordan. No, it's fair though. I mean, if Jordan Birch goes to like the Panthers versus
the Eagles,
yeah, there's something. Yeah, I get that. 8 is David Walker. Oh no, this is a sleeper. David Walker.
That's Mel Kiper's guy. That's Mel Kiper's guy, man.
Oh, David Walker.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I mean, and they have some other guys on here, but like they have Landon Jackson, Jalen Walker, David Walker, Nick Scorton's on here. I don't see
where'd they have Princely Landon?
Right there.
There he is.
Princely. He's below Antoine Powell Ryland. I mean, Savion Jones, Oluwafemi is on here.
Okay.
Right behind
Josiah Stewart.
Yeah. Wait, can you scroll up real quick, Jeff? Where's this? Which number on here is the sack number? Does it show? Can you scroll over to it?
The last one.
Okay. Yeah. Now, can you scroll down a little bit? I want to see what he has like.
Which player?
UCLA.
12 and a half.
Yeah, keep going down a little.
Crazy. Through 5, bro.
If you keep him at an off-ball linebacker, though, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, like 9. Princely 9.
Jared Ivey 8.
9. Oh,
we lose Klotz. Haven't lost Klotz in a long time.
9 sacks, dude. I'm telling you, that's ridiculous. All right, 9 sacks through 5 years, dude. Like, cut him. I think
some of those top guys. I mean, the projection is like 25, and it's like they're not gonna have 25 through 5. Like some of these dudes are gonna get 50 through 5. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
I mean 50 is a lot, but you know what I'm saying.
Like Trayvon Walker through 2 and Aidan through 2. Like 3. Actually, it would be 3, right? I mean, they all have almost 30.
20 now.
Yeah, like it's like through 3 years. So the projection is just off. But where they have guys ranked, I'd probably pay more attention to, which I disagree. James Pierce is too low. Like, that's a whole nother thing. Which he has not met with the Lions. So speaking of being prepared, be prepared.
James Pierce probably not an option.
Can't wait to follow his career.
I think those guys, I think there's something to it. I don't know. Oh my gosh. I don't know if anyone's watching this Natty game. This guy just banged on someone. That was unbelievable. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I wonder if they're going to have more top 30 visits. I don't know when like the deadline is to kind of get those out and finish those up. But I'd be interested to see like from now until the draft, who they end up visiting.
I do have this. All right. And an NFL executive decided to comment.
Oh, this is funny, dude.
It's funny when you see these anonymous NFL executives comment on things, and there's never names to it.
Just put your name on it. You know, stamp a little bit of a respect. You know.
Oh, here's Klotz.
Back, boys. Wi-Fi just took a shit on me. Hey, we're on a good streak there.
Yeah, we were.
Long time.
Well, Klotz, we're going to bring up this. It's an anonymous NFL executive that decided to comment on why he thinks the Lions are maybe in a little bit of trouble or could have some regression. And let me explain what he said, okay? And this is on athlonsports.com, but it's really The Athletic. The Athletic's Mike Sando revealed that one NFL executive told him, there would be a lot about Detroit that scares me, but it ain't the players. But it's not the players. So he's basically, what that means is the players he ain't worried about. It's the coaches. It's the new coaches. John Morton and Kelvin Shepard. He mentioned that the Lions, he senses some regression because if there is something that will pull this team down, it will be their new coordinators. And if I'm being 100% transparent, he's not really wrong. Okay, if there is one thing you point to besides injuries that we've seen a historic rate this past season, it would be new coordinators. Like that happens, guys. I know we as fans feel we're like we can't be affected by that or anything that the other teams in the league get affected by. It's like, oh, it'll never happen to us until it happens, just like the injuries. Like, it'll never happen. Then it happens. It's a real thing where if there is something that will hurt this team, it would be new coordinators besides injuries. That is, in my opinion, very fair. You have John Morton, who's has been an offensive coordinator one other time in the NFL, and Calvin, who's a new defensive coordinator for the first time. Now, if I had to say my confidence level, I'm very confident in both. Probably more so Calvin because he's already been here and I know what he can be as a defensive coordinator. The thing that worries me about John Morton, I've already said this plenty of times, although I like John Morton, is just his age and his resume. It's like he's just been in the NFL for so long, and he's only really been an OC in the NFL once. Like, that to me is a red flag, but very bright offensively, right? He was a big part of this offense, so it makes you feel a little better. But I know we usually go at anonymous NFL executives for things they say, but to me, this is a very fair thing to say. When you're looking at a contender and you're looking at what Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson have done in Detroit when they were coaches, it's like Ben Johnson led you to an historic offense. They were firing on all cylinders, and then defensively, Aaron Glenn just finding ways to piece this thing together with injuries. And Aaron Glenn and Ben at least had time to learn when they were both coordinators. They were coordinators when this team wasn't good, and they got to learn and grow. And then when they were good, it was clicking. This team's already good, boys. It's a contender. You literally just need everything just to click. You just need to win a Super Bowl, and it's probably easier said than done with new coordinators. So I don't think this is, like, I see Steve says it's a lazy take. Like, it probably is not lazy, but it's easy to say. It's not like some crazy thing to say. But I don't think it's
real quick
crazy. I don't.
Yeah, before you go off of like, that's my whole thing here. It's like, you look at this team. This is one of the best teams in all of football. All right, if you had to say, hey, what's one thing? Like, I'm not worried about the players. The players are the players. Like, Dan has said it a million times. We know who we have on the football field. Like, we know it. That's not changing. So to me, this is just like, all right, the anonymous or whoever wrote the article, it's like, all right, tell me something more obvious about the Detroit Lions. Their staff has changed. Like, we all know that. Like, we're all going into here. It's been a topic a million times for us this offseason. Klotz, he's putting a big, like, I don't know, a big, like, red flag over the Johnny Mo show. And he's like, I'm keeping close eyes on him, which, you know what, as much as I argue with Klotz about that, fair enough. And in my opinion, everyone should be doing that with the Johnny Mo show. Everyone should be doing that with Kelvin Shepard. Like, and they know it. Like, this isn't a normal situation where, you know, like the Jags right now or the Carolina Panthers or a team right now that's trying to turn things around to where younger OCs are coming in. This is a situation where you are established. You have all of the pieces, all of the players in place to be able to be successful. You have to come in and you have to continue to help kind of push that forward. And you have to help take that next step to win a Super Bowl. Like, this isn't an expectation of, hey, let's figure this thing out and win a couple games this year, win the division next year, get the playoffs the year after. And no, this is a thing where it's like, hey, it's Super Bowl. Like, in the next 12 months, we're expecting to hold a Lombardi trophy. So for these two guys, like, you are in a magnifying glass. Like, and I hope everyone understands that. But like the anonymous executive, like, yeah, no duh. Like, that's the biggest move of this team's offseason is they lost both of their coordinators to become a head coach. Like, that's why it's like, to me, it's like, what are we, like, I get it. Like, I guess it would need something to talk about, but yeah, it's going to be a big question mark for both sides. I think they'll both be successful. The reason behind it, and Klotz, whether you think so or not, but like the reason behind it, and Dan has said it a million times this offseason, like, it's the same, like, it has nothing to do with what the coaches are doing. Everything that's happening in Detroit right now with the Lions is because of the players that they have out on the field. Like, and I think that's a fact. And Dan's emphasized that a million times. Like, we're going to have the same schemes in place. We're going to have everything the same. Now, when it comes push to shove, like, very integral things of this team when it comes to the playoffs, like, yeah, maybe that will change and that might hurt you. But I still think you have the same players. You know, you have that core pieces. And in my opinion, it's magnifying glasses on both of these guys. And then we all know what it's going to be come week one. And they're going to have a buffer period. Like, they'll have, in my opinion, you'll have a buffer period. Ben Johnson and AG had a buffer period last year where Ben Johnson's offense didn't even get good until week 6 or 7. They didn't get going. So, like, the Johnny Mo show will get until week 10. Calvin Shepard, you get until week 10. But after that, playoffs are right around the corner. You better have this thing ready to roll, and you better be in a position to be playing in January.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I'm not, and I've definitely made it very clear, not backing down from it either, that I'm concerned about the Johnny Moe show. But I'm with you. Like, if it's happening week 5, week 6, like, I'm not going to be looking at John Morton unless it's clear, like a Matt Canada situation where it's 4th and 1 and you're dropping back out of shotgun. But that's not going to be the case. And I think both of these guys are going to have success with this team, because I think a similar situation that people point to, not this year's Philadelphia, but when Philadelphia made the Super Bowl and lost both their coordinators and they hired Brian Johnson and I don't remember who the defensive coordinator was at the time. They brought in Fangio and they brought in Kellen Moore this offseason. Both, and I think somebody dropped in the chat when we started, I'll get to it. The difference is between Johnny Morton and Kelvin Shepard. For the first time, they're basically being offensive coordinators. Kellen Moore has been an offensive coordinator in Dallas and LA, had success in both. Vic Fangio is probably one of, if not the best defensive coordinator in the NFL, has been around the block for a while. But when you look at this team, I think Dan Campbell has a lot more control on this locker room than Nick Sirianni does in Philadelphia. So I don't think it's going to be a situation where the Lions are coming off a Super Bowl type of run, Super Bowl contender type of season, and they fall to 10-7, 10-8, whatever the games are going to be this year. I don't think that's the case. But when I look into the playoffs, because the Lions are going to make the playoffs, I don't think that the coordinators are going to drop them off that bad. I look at Ben Johnson this year against the Commanders. I look at Aaron Glenn in the past, and I look how even as good of coordinators they were, they had some moments where like, oh, that's Sean McVay. Oh, that's Dan Quinn. Oh, that's whoever they're going up against. Even when they go up in the playoffs, when they've matched up with Todd Bowles, like Ben Johnson had a tough time against Todd Bowles. They lost him in the regular season, and then they were able to beat him in the playoffs, and they play him again. They lose him in the regular season, and it's 20-16. They beat him the first time in the regular season, my fault. But both those times, like Ben Johnson, even against Todd Bowles, had some struggles. So now I look at a Johnny Moe show, John Morton, and it's like, okay, I understand the play. I'm not concerned about the players. I'm concerned about when they get in those bright lights, like, are they going to piss down their leg? Are they going to try to be too smart for their own good? Or do they stick to their identity of what this Detroit Lions football team is? I think it's easy to do that with Dan Campbell. But at the same time, like John Morton, he has an ego. He's going to want to try to prove himself and be like, it's not Dan Campbell or it's not the Johnny Moe show in Detroit, but they got a good-ass offensive coordinator who's got some tricks up his sleeves. So my concern is when you're going up against those premier coaches, those premier coordinators in the NFL in the playoffs, that's where it's like, okay, this is where I'm going to be nervous, because I don't think the offense is going to completely fall off the rails. It'll regress a little bit. Defense, I honestly think it has a chance to improve with all the injuries coming off, and I'm not as concerned with Calvin Shepard by any means. I'm actually kind of optimistic about him. But this team's going to be all right. It's the big moments that are giving me kind of that red flag moment.
I just want to say this too, and Klotz, I don't want to argue about it because we've gone back and forth about it. The only thing I don't like about, like, and I disagree, it's like you'd be like, oh, he has an ego. Like, the man really doesn't. He's been an OC once.
Everyone does. I'm saying.
I get what you're saying, but like I think like he knows, and he's said it in his interviews, and Dan said it a million times. And this is why I feel like compared to Nick Sirianni, to Dan Campbell, it has nothing to do like with John Morton or Kelvin Shepard. What it has to do with is the culture in hand and the players that are on the field. And you have those guys, like Dan has said it a million times. I like emphasize. I feel I don't want to be a slappy and just keep being like he's God, but like it makes sense. And if you've watched the Lions the last 3 years, and I'm not taking anything away from Ben or anything, but like these players, dude, like they have drafted. Brad has drafted so well to where like these guys are the engine that keeps this thing running. Now I get in those moments. I don't think like John Morton is going to have an ego in big moments and be like, I want to make sure my name and I'm the one that's getting the credit here. Like the man has been working. He's been working basically behind the scenes for the last 20 years in the NFL. Like he doesn't have an ego. Like guys who have been trying to be head coaches and like trying to be OCs consistently and constantly, like, and trying to make their next jump in the NFL, I would say those are ego guys. John Morton's just been taking a step back his whole time. Like he helped build this Lions offense and didn't ask for a lick of credit. And he just left. Like he literally sat down for 2 years, built this offense with Ben Johnson, Dan, and Jared, and then just said, all right, I'm just going to go. Like he didn't want any credit. Like, you see what I'm saying? So I don't think that's like, that's why I just don't like the wording of that. Like his ego's going to get, like, it's not. Like everyone in the world has an ego. That's an obvious statement. You sound like the anonymous exec there. Like that's an obvious statement.
It's my point is every human being has an ego, and Johnny Morton
that's obvious.
Exactly. So it's going to be obvious that Johnny Morton is not just going to be sitting behind
the scenes the whole time, doesn't care
on this offense. And
no,
okay.
he won't. That's the thing. Like he's been behind the scenes.
He's going to want to do exactly what Ben Johnson does. No, he's going to want to do things John Morton's way. And in big moments, he's going to be like, I believe in this play call. And it's not a bad thing to always have an ego.
You want him to call Ben Johnson mid-game and be like, what should I call? What did you call? Like, no, he's going to have to play. He's the play caller. He's going to have to call his plays.
But unfortunately, we cannot.
What?
That we could have been realistic.
I think you guys just made the same point. I like this. The miscommunication. I just witnessed it live. Like you guys literally make the same point. And like Klotzy's saying the dude's gonna have his own imprint because he has an ego. And Boone said, "Well, yeah, he's not gonna call Ben Johnson." Yeah, you guys agree. Like the dude's.
I don't think it's because. I just think it's like. Why are we saying it's?
I think the word
ego.
I think you're not.
That's such a bad word.
Yeah,
it's such bad wording. Like it makes no sense.
It doesn't always have to be like Ben had an ego. Aaron Glenn had an ego. Like it's a good.
Everyone in the world has an ego.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. He's not just going to sit there and be like, this offense is going to stay the exact same. He's going to make changes to this offense in the big moments, those changes, because we saw Ben Johnson even struggle with trying to adapt in the game. So we see Dan Campbell has missed on hirings before. Johnny Warren hasn't called much, but yeah, I really don't.
I'll just say, what other word besides ego would you use?
Ego is like him being like, I'm going to go out of my way to try and make sure everyone in the world knows that I'm the
That's offensive. If you have a big ego.
He doesn't care.
That's an
but
ego.
No one cares. It's not ego. Like he has to call the plays.
His own personality.
Well, how would you prefer?
Yes, that's perfect. Like he's going to call his own offense.
Boone, it's all the same. It just.
I just hate me with wording sometimes. It's like, what are we doing?
You don't like the tone. I understand.
Tone and word. Hey, it's a big. It's a that in our industry.
But regardless,
make or break
to the anonymous NFL executive, thanks for pointing out the obvious. All right, appreciate it.
And thanks to Klotzy pointing out everyone has an ego.
Yeah, I think Robbie's right. You were thinking like diva. You know what I mean? Like the dude, like when you think of big ego, like Amon-Ra.
Yes.
These guys have egos. It's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? Dude, it's not.
I've coached a million years. I've been around guys with big egos, and you're like, what? Like this guy, I don't want him in my locker room. Like you don't want him in my locker. When you say like an ego, I think instantly, I don't want this guy around. Like especially a Lions culture.
Well, you said it earlier. We all have egos.
We all do, but it's like a bet when you say it in the terms when you a take like that, like how a guy's going to approach a year, if he's going to be bad at his job. Typically, when you're talking it in a negative sense, that means he has a big ego and it's gonna hurt your team because of his ego.
Well,
we have egos, but it's not going to hurt us,
right? But if you're like, if Lukas said Johnny Morton is going to have a big ego and he's going to, you know, like then it's like
his point is. Come on now, Jeff. Don't try and argue this.
I'm just clarifying what was said.
He's questioning Johnny Moe next year. So when you say ego, it looks as a negative sense because he's negative on Johnny Morton. It's all fair. Like it's fair. Like it put 1 + 1 = 2. We're not dumb.
All right. Well, let's get to these mock drafts. We'll agree. We'll just leave it there. Ego, buzzword for Boone. He didn't like the ego. Yeah. It's okay. But we'll get to mock drafts. We have all three of ours.
Buzzword?
Yeah, listen, it's all semantics. Like
it's a good time. Hey, it's the off season. We've got a million hours.
Yeah, we'll argue about the word ego. I mean, why not?
Let's have a good night. Huh?
I'll get mine out the way, boys. I'm fired up. And Klotzy, I think I'm gonna get you on this player. You might have heard of him. I hope you have because we could have more dialogue about him. If you haven't, then I'm even more fired up about it.
All right.
Okay, it's a player and. He's getting buzzed around right now, and I'm telling you, you're gonna like him. All right, let's get to mine. People in the chat know who it is, but we'll get to mine. All right, my mock. Let me break it down. This one, it's competing with some of the best, and you're gonna like the first two picks, Klotzy. It looks a lot like your previous ones, but let me tell you about my mock. And I did some moves. I've been a little more passive in my last two mocks. Yeah, I think it is my last two mocks. I could be last mock. I didn't trade at all, but in this mock, I did trade. And let me explain my thought process on it. Okay, so I traded back to 34, and I selected guard Tyler Booker. Klotzy's had him in his mocks. Pro Tyler Booker show. He's going to be he's already an excellent pass blocker. In the run game, wasn't as stout, but I think in this offensive line with Hank Fraley, it's not like the dude just is incapable. I'm looking at his pass blocking ability. That's what he is. and you want to protect Jared Goff. And at 34, you get really good value with Tyler Booker. Now, I talked about it at the beginning. Prepare for a guard for the first pick. And Tyler Booker, they met with him. His uncle played for Michigan State. I mean, he's an intelligent football player. He plays the game. He's a nasty player. He's exactly what the Lions, I think, would love in a guard, to be honest with you. And you get him at 34. I pick up some extra picks, which I used to move in this draft, but I'll get to that. 60, Jordan Birch. It's Klotzy's golden child, Jordan Birch, the defensive end out of Oregon. I don't need to say much. Athlete. He's got the size. 6'6", 290. He can do it all off the edge. He's going to be your Marcus Davenport replacement, and I think he's going to be really good right away. And you're getting him at 60. I think realistically, just to add this, you might need to trade up a little bit, but he could be there at 60. But I think 60 is probably a little friendly for a player like Jordan Birch. He's probably going to go like 40s. But regardless, you get a starting edge at 60. 65, I trade up to get Josiah Stewart. He was still on the board, double dipped. And think of it like this. I put defensive end, but I really think Josiah in the league's more of a Sam linebacker. He's 6'1". I don't think he's just going to play off the edge all the time, but you look at Derek Barnes, look at that Sam room. You got Josiah Stewart in there now. Like, Josiah can do some things now. He played with some really good players at Michigan, but I think in certain situations, passing downs, you can really utilize Josiah Stewart. And I see Steve Lehman says no offensive tackle. No, when you have Manu, you don't need one. All right, let's keep it pushing. Yeah. Josiah Stewart. No, I'm kidding. Josiah Stewart, though, I think it's great value. He's a Brad guy, just like Tyler Booker. They met with both of them. So I'm trying to keep this a little more realistic as we get closer to the draft. And then at 102, boys, let me tell you about Jalen Royals. Okay. He put the crown on. That's his celebration. And when you turn on the tape from Jalen Royals, I know it's Utah State. I'm well aware. But he can do it all. Against man coverage, against zone coverage, against press. He ran a 4.4 40, 6'2". He can make aggressive catches. He gets open. Go watch him at the Senior Bowl. Dude was open all the time. All right. And I think the Lions are going to love him because he can play. Hey, your GOAT, Klotzy, Steve Smith, loves Jalen Royals. Loves him. He can play in the slot. He can play outside. Probably more so slot, but still has the size and the kind of big playmaking ability to play on the outside. But he can get you yards after catch. And I have something I want to break down for you. And this was tweeted out by Warren Sharp, who's kind of like a data guy. All right. Tweets a lot of like interesting things, but he said this about Jalen Royals. Let me read this to you. Okay. Jalen Royals, he was number 1 in the 10-yard split in his class this year. Higher than who? Some pretty good wide receivers. 1.49 10-yard split at his size. 3.8 yards per route against man coverage. 3rd in the class. 3 yards per route against all coverage. Doesn't matter. 7-11. He's open all the time. 4th in the class. 7.9 yards after the catch per reception. 7th in the class. So he's a yards per catch guy. Gets open. Does a lot of things that I think the Lions are going to really like. And a lot of teams are going to really like. But I got him at 102. He's a top 50, 60 player. I think 60, 70 player. Got him at 102. So is this realistic? I don't know. But he was there. So I took him. Love Jalen Royals. 130, Billy Bowman Jr., another Klotzy guy. I might have just been looking at the Klotzy data sheet for this one because there's a lot of guys Klotzy likes here. Billy Bowman Jr., by the way, has some experience at nickel, playing deep safety, another playmaker. The only thing I guess you look at Billy Bowman and say, well, the tackling, right? A little inconsistent, but that's really it. I mean, you look at the guy play ball. He makes plays. He's a ball hawk. It's what he does. And I think with the Lions, if you have Brian Branch at nickel, Billy Bowman, you could put him at deep safety, let him roam around and make plays with Kirby, or you can throw him at nickel. He's a little smaller. He probably can play nickel full time based on what I've read, and that would be basically your Meek Robertson replacement. Versatile DB. You get him at 130, and this is going to be, I think, a steal of the draft here at 130. 228, Ty Robinson. I mean, you just need a defensive lineman. John Kamish right there, Ty Robinson replacement. And then at 244, I went with Drew Kendall, the former teammate of dirtbag Christian Mahogany, starting center. Went up against who? That. Win against who in practice? Donovan Izaraki. Not directly because he's off the edge, but still played against, went against him in practice. He's a very smart player. He has the size. And I see Purple Prince. Ty Robinson's going to go early hundreds. Probably right on that one. Drew Kendall, though, I like him. He's just a good player. He's not great, but he's good. And maybe you can develop him into be a very good player for you and potentially center depth for you. So that's kind of your thought process at 244. But this is my mock draft. And I made 2 trades. Trade back out of the first round, and I traded up to get Josiah Stewart in the second round or third round. So those are my picks, boys.
All right, choosy. Yeah, I like it. I would be happy with this draft. I would. Jordan Birch and Josiah Stewart just pop off the board to me. I'm like, all right, there we go.
Yeah, you hammer home the needs.
Yeah. It's needs.
Tyler Booker, obviously.
And if I'm thinking about this logically, boys, I went BPA at essentially every pick. I mean, I did. I mean, Tyler Booker, I thought at 34 was the best player. James Pierce was gone. All the top edges were gone. Jordan Birch, best player. I traded up for Josiah. He was the best player available. Jalen Royals, he was the best player at 102. Billy Bone, like all these guys, BPA.
I need to watch some Jalen Royals, man.
Yeah, I tried to keep it semi-realistic with like BPA trades, players they met with. So I tried to keep this one a little more realistic, but yeah.
Because he's somebody you can put, like, he's not an X, but there's no issue with lining him out on the outside. Because, like, to your point, like, he can run anything in the route tree. And the thing that I like about him, and it's because Steve Smith brought it up, obviously, but his quarterback play, probably not so, it's probably obvious within itself, but at Utah State was not good, like, at all. And so he was able to be making plays. You put him in an offense with Jared Goff for 2 to 3 years when that JMO contract comes up. You got Tim Patrick on the outside, and I'm very confident in that. Like, you guys know how I feel about Tim Patrick. So for him for the season, obviously injury is a concern. But if he goes down, it's not like you can't have somebody out there. They'd throw Khalif, Jameson, and Amon-Ra on the field for numerous packages if Tim Patrick went down. Like, I don't think missing an X is a make or break for this offense. The personnel that they have is up there with the best in the league, if not the best in the league when it comes to skill players.
Yeah, I mean, he can do, that's why I like him, because he's got the hands, the route running. He can go up and make a play, attack the ball. I mean, he does things that you look for at, I guess, like X receivers, but they played him in the slot, and, high quarterback rating when targeted. So, I mean, when they threw the ball at Jalen Royals in tight windows, dude came down with it. So, like, Johnny Morton would love to have him.
He should have took the Matthew Golden route and transferred out of there.
Yeah. If he was at like a big time school,
give him a quarterback and a good
he would
coach.
Probably be a second round pick. And he still could be. I don't know, but I love Jalen Royals, man.
I like it, Jeff. I'd give that an A, honestly. Like, I'd be doing somersaults.
I'd be happy.
There's 3 or 4 guys I've talked about very consistently through the offseason that you're getting there. So I'm happy with that draft.
I think the biggest thing to look at, and obviously the BPA, but like the fact you got a guard, Tyler Booker, and that was your BPA pick. And then you're like, all right, and how deep this edge class is. And you're looking at there and you're going, okay, give me Jordan Birch. Oh, Josiah Stewart still on the board. All right, got both of them. And then even like interior defensive line, you get a Ty Robinson. Like safety, I think a safety is a big one. Like I think they're going to come out of this draft class with the safety. I think they're going to come out with the wide receiver. I still think that there's a chance they come out with the running back somehow, some way. So I think like I like that draft. That was a good draft, Jeff. That might have been your best draft yet. And that's not saying your other ones are bad. I just think that was getting closer to the draft. That's a good one.
And Jalen Royals, I mean, at least from what I've watching some more tape on him and reading more about him, he's pretty comfortable inside and out. So, I mean, I think the Lions like players like that. He can play the X, the Z. He could play anywhere. I mean, you put him anywhere. He's smart, gets open, catches the ball, makes plays. So that's all there is to it. So, yeah. Remember the name. Let's get to Klotzy, though.
Come on now, fellas.
Klotzy.
I think we're all 3 are going to be pleased about this one. I didn't try to even. It just the way the board fell was like, got Jeff's guy here, got Booner's guy here, got my guy here, got another Booner guy. So it's going to be a very diverse draft, but I like it. It's honestly up there. It might be my favorite one so far with how it panned out. I love this draft. Throw it up there, Hefe.
All right, let's get to it. All right, Klotzy, talk to me.
So he fell. While I do not think it happens in real life on April 24th, I don't think it happens, but James Pierce fell to 28. So, no shit. I'm going to take him. That's the best value you could get, arguably, in the first round. Unless Mason Graham falls out the top 5. If the Raiders are able to get him at 6, that's the best value in the draft. Or if Kenneth Grant falls a bunch. But James Pierce at 28, the Lions would probably win the draft. And I think if you're Philadelphia, if you're Washington, if you're LA, you're like, oh, shit, they just got James Pierce to go alongside Aidan Hutchinson, and they have a lot of depth in that interior offensive line. But, I mean, the guard spot, that's a little shaky. No, it's not, because you're able to trade up. We traded Hendon Hooker, a 7th-round pick, and pick 60 to move up 18 spots with the Jets. AG, Tanner Angstrom gets his Hendon Hooker back. If Justin Fields fails, you got some security there. And you're just falling back 18 picks, and you get Donovan Jackson, the guard-tackle combo, because I think this would be BPA here as well. Like, if Donovan Jackson's there, and you're going to be like, all right, let's try him out behind Christian Mahogany, give him some comp. Same thing with Graham Glasgow. If he's not working at guard, great. You can develop him behind Taylor Decker for a year, see how he does there. Former Buckeye going to another Buckeye tackle. And then the 3rd round, boys, taking another Buckeye. Latham Ransom, again, was just BPA. I was sitting there. I was like, you know what? We could force a need here. Or Booner was talking about, he's not saying take Malachi Starks, but with BPA, yeah, they have an all-pro safety and a Pro Bowl safety and Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. They're going to be throwing Avonte Maddox back there, but there's really no solid third option. Brandon Joseph honestly wasn't that bad, but he got a DUI. He's off the squad now. You bring in Latham Ransom. I watched him all year as a Ohio State Buckeye fan, but then at the combine, like we're all watching, like he moved very well. Latham Ransom is a good ball hawk, and he'll pop you in your face. He's a do-it-all type of guy that he'd probably be behind Brian Branch, and he could throw him in the nickel, but I think it's just as time goes on, he's going to kind of fall into – he's built completely different, going to be a different role, but that iffy role where it's just going to be really hard to keep him off the field. Special teams are going to be flying all over the place, and then we double down again at defensive end with Savion Jones. They're looking at LSU guys last year, obviously with Mekhi Wingo. Savion Jones, defensive end, their long-rangey guy, was able to get 5 sacks twice. It was in his first year and then this year as well. Just a guy that's athletic off the edge and can give you a different type of look. So you take 2 athletes, honestly, just guys that can get to the quarterback. Savion is solid against the run. Just not that much production there at LSU. But again, they're going up against Power 5 guys. Savion Jones in the 4th round at 130. I'm all over that. And then same thing with Kyle Williams. Like, he was sitting there. And I was like, I was thinking about taking Kyle Williams instead of Savion Jones. I'm like, all right, I'll let the pick go by. Kyle Williams was still sitting there. So I traded up. Again, this is kind of like you're with your Jalen Royals thing. Like, Kyle Williams isn't an X. He's not like your prototypical slot wide receiver, but the dude is just fucking good and he flies. He's a deep threat that you can put in the slot or on the perimeter, runs very good routes, just a very smooth wide receiver, knows a whole route tree. There's really not much adjustment. You just got to put 10 to 15 pounds on him, and this dude's going to be an instant deep threat in the NFL. It's not saying he's going to get 100 catches and 1,000 yards, but Kyle Williams, if you draft him in the 4th, 5th round, he's somebody that could easily give you 200 to 300 yards and 3 to 4 touchdowns as a rookie, and you can trust him if an injury happens to Jamison Williams, where now you have that next deep threat in Kyle Williams. And then we get Ty Robinson back in the defensive line, boys. I think this is going to be consistent throughout the whole rest of the offseason. Out of Nebraska, do just the Kaminsky replacement. If there's injury, Ty Robinson has a ton of upside too. Like, I just think injury is the concern with Ty Robinson. When you look at how big he is, how athletic he is, the production to go with it after getting to the quarterback. It's not like he's just somebody that's getting hurt. He's like, no, he's tree planting quarterbacks. Ty Robinson is a Dan Campbell type of player. And then I will be taking him in my last pick every time. It used to be Shabazz Moose Muhammad Boone. Now it's Sean Dolak, the linebacker out of Buffalo. This man might not even be drafted. He might not, but I don't care. If you're sitting there at 228, Sean Dolak is somebody that will instantly be a good special teamer. You can slide in there with Malcolm Rodriguez, give you great depth at that linebacker 2 to 3 to 4 spot, however you want to view it. Guys, led the MAC, or led the nation with 168 tackles, 10th all-time in tackles in college football histories, 6 sacks this year, 5 interceptions. One of them was for a tutty. If you get that at pick 228, Kelvin Shepard's going to be a very happy man. So this is the draft, boys. Mostly defense, but then we went in there. We got Donovan Jackson. We got Kyle Williams as well. So no pure tackles, no pure guards, but we're giving depth and potential starters there at the offensive spots. And then you look at James Pierce at 28, Latham Ransom. I love this draft, fellas.
Klotz, I love it.
I see us. We swapped some guys, Klotzy. I took Klotz guys. You took some and Boone guys, but you James
got three of my guys on there, Klotzy.
I would say, three.
Kyle Williams. I feel like I was the first one to find Kyle Williams, and I was shocked. No one was talking about this kid. A lot of people in the chat saying he's moving up to the second round. I mean, I said
be surprised.
His speed reminds me of JMO's speed. Like if you watch him, you're like, how is this kid not talked about?
I see Savion Jones has made an appearance. I respect
of it.
They actually Braden Swinson, the other edge they got at LSU. He's gonna those two are gonna be like top 3 round guys, 4th round guys, top 4 round guys. But I like it. I like it.
Boom.
Our drafts tonight, I think, are identical. I mean,
because I know I knew I was like, I'm prepared.
Identical.
Latham Ransom's there. Like Boone's gonna take him, but I don't care. It's all right to have the same picks here, Boone. We're on the same wavelength.
I mean, yeah, we have some of the same picks, like exact same picks, and made some of the same moves. And then if we didn't have the same pick, I think we took the same players or positions. So I think we're like right there with the same position groups. So no, I like your draft, dude. I think as we're getting closer to the draft, you're starting to see some guys where it's like, hey, these are good guys, in my opinion, who are going to be like very good players in the NFL. Like even late round guys like Ty Robinson, taking him at 196. I don't know if he's going to be there at 196 because I think he's going to be legit in the league. Like obviously not like all pro defense lineman, like maybe the ceiling, but like he's going to be a very consistent player in the NFL. And that's what this Lions team needs right now is guys like that. Sean Dolak, he's going to be a high-level linebacker somewhere. Maybe not a full-time starter, but he's going to be playing a lot of snaps in the NFL over the next 7 or 8 years. Same with Kyle Williams.
Yeah,
Kyle Williams, I wouldn't be shocked if there's 1,000-yard. Yeah, I think he's going to have a couple 1,000-yard seasons, in my opinion. I think he's going to be so good.
Can I just do a trust circle?
Yeah.
What?
I had Kyle Williams there, and I took Jalen Royals.
I'm taking Kyle Williams.
I don't hate either of them.
I like Kyle Williams. I was doing more research into Kyle, and I think the thing that probably drew me away, which it probably isn't even worth drawing me away, is really just 2 things. Like the size scares me a little bit just because he's like 5'10", he's a little smaller. I'm talking about for the Lions. Like not saying he won't be good, but just fit-wise. And then what I've read, pretty consistent. It's just his run blocking. He doesn't really block in the run game. Like he's just bad at that. So I don't know. Maybe the Lions look at him and say, you know what, this guy, maybe it's just an effort thing. Maybe he can start to do it. I don't know. But I think he'll be a good player. But I had the option and I just
I like Kyle Williams, man. I think he's just a playmaker.
His acceleration, when you watch him on tape, he flies.
Insane.
I mean,
it's like, and I hate to say it, and I don't want to, obviously it's not that low. It looks like JMO or like Tyreek Hill. Like if you watch those plays at Washington State, you're like,
he plays.
This is insane.
I think he ran a 4.4, but he plays like faster than that.
Yeah,
he plays like 4.3s.
He takes off, and you're like,
you know, who's got a little bit to his game, Boone. A little Jordan Addison to his game.
All right, that's fair.
He didn't like Jordan.
I think he's just more so.
No, that's a good player.
Yeah, Jordan Addison's good. I just think I think the speed. He didn't run a great 40, but if you watch what he did
so
at Wazoo, man, it's just that's why I'm shocked he didn't have a great 40. But it's just like, dude,
he's one of those
football speed.
He ran like a 4.4, but he looks way faster than that.
Because he's one of those guys that, like, in the first 3 steps of his route, he's moving the DB over 2 spots of where he needs to be. So then he can just fucking go, and there's no one touching him. You know what I mean? Like, if you watch his routes, like, he doesn't get touched a lot of the time, so he can just fucking go. He's just setting the players up. Like, that's why, like, players that don't run, like the Xavier Restrepo running a 4.8, whatever it was. Like, yeah, he's not a fast wide receiver. When you watch him, he looks like a 4.5 guy just because he's not getting touched.
Hey, Alex, are you familiar with the player who threw passes to Kyle Williams?
Wazoo, that would have been Cam Ward.
Yep.
Not last year.
Not last year.
Who was it last year? Not
about
familiar.
2 years ago. Mm-hmm. I have no clue. Not a damn clue.
All right, let's pull up yours, Boone.
Mine is I won't even take that long on it. Mine's very similar to Lukas Klotz's, to be honest. This is good, Klotz. This means we're getting close to the draft, and for the people, like, we don't see each other's until just now. So as we get closer, we're starting to see, like, hey, these are our guys. Hey, these are crunch time guys. Starting to get that feeling a little bit.
Talk to me, Boone. What do we got?
All right. Hey.
Oh, I like it, Boone.
I made the move, boys. I said last week, I'm starting to fall in love with Michael Williams. And I said, I'm getting him this week. And I would love the fact, and this is where my mind goes with that. I traded up to 20 for it. I think maybe gave up a third last. I don't know the exact trade package, but this was the situation I talked about earlier in the show today and last week, to where if there are guys like Michael Williams kind of falling into the draft and guys that potentially could be top 15 picks and they get to 20 and you're sitting there and you're going, oh, you have to go get them, Brad. Like if it's Michael Williams, Mike Green, and you're sitting there and you're like, you can't pass on a guy like this. Klotz, you're not passing on Michael Williams. I know you're not. So it's like, to me, it's like he's sitting at 20, you go and get him. If Atlanta passes on him, you find a way to get him. I think he's just an athlete, boys. Like, you put him next to Aidan Hutchinson. I think Michael's a guy that has a very high ceiling, wasn't as consistent at Georgia and didn't put up insane numbers. But just like, it's kind of like the Shamar Stewart thing, like the measurables and everything, except he actually did go out there. He didn't have 4.5 sacks across his career. He had 4.5 plus every season, basically. And he has the measurables, the power. Around. Yeah, he has the power. He's got the length. He has literally everything that goes with it. I think if you put him in the right position with the Detroit Lions and Aidan Hutchinson, Michael Williams is going to be very, very good in the league. And I think if you can't pass on a guy like that. 42, Klotz, this is where me and you went basically.
Yeah, this is creepy, bro. Especially
very. Did you go to 42?
Yeah, with the Jets for Donovan Jackson. I swear to God, I did.
The reason I went 42 is when I got a trade offer and it was from the Jets. So you probably got the same thing. But that is that's actually wild. And the fact that we got the same exact player. But I know Klotz, I'm not going to go deep into it. Like, I mean, you're the Ohio State guy. You know Donovan Jackson. I've got to see him play down the stretch last year. He had an insane stretch of football last year. He was a guard, I think, converted to tackle. I think this is a guy, and maybe Klotz can tell me if I'm wrong. I think in the NFL, this man, you could play him anywhere. Like, you could be like you, and maybe he's not going to be at as elite at like a tackle, but at guard, he's going to be elite. If you needed him at a tackle, okay, like last chance, you have him there. But I think this is a guy in Donovan Jackson to where you can get him at like in the 40s, maybe 50s if he falls. Just such a high ceiling. And I look at this like the guys that we draft in the 20s and 30s on the offensive line, you can make an argument can start right away. I think with Donovan Jackson, and I think with him, boys, you can let him sit a year and he's an automatic starter for you. Like,
agreed.
If he develops,
Agreed.
Like, and you don't need, this is one of those picks to where it's like, yeah, we need offensive line. You really don't need it this year. Like, you can go with Graham at right guard and you can go with Mahogany at left guard, and you can roll with Taylor Decker for another year and win a Super Bowl. But then when you get to that next year and you're like, all right, we need to move on from Graham, Donovan Jackson would be like an elite replacement at 42, like looking a year ahead and being like, if we develop him with Hank Fraley, this is a future Pro Bowler. It really is. And it's like one of those, like, hey, I know we need instant guys, but this is one of those positions where BPA, and offensive line, Donovan Jackson's one of the best you can get, in my opinion, at that position where if you need to sit a year, he is the perfect developmental guy to come in. Has every tool you want in an offensive lineman. Everything. Size, arm length, he has it all. You just need to get him in there, get him in the system. At 102, I went Lathan Ransom. This is a guy that I fell in love with, and I've been talking about him for since the combine. I think the biggest thing with Lathan Ransom, and this is a need/BPA thing, to where with Iffy leaving, you have no other safeties on your roster right now besides Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph that are going to play meaningful snaps. And I think with Lathan, I know you have guys like a Meek that can play in the nickel and you can move guys around. This gives you a lot of depth at that position, and he can come in and play right away. And obviously he's not going to play significant snaps, and you're going to have to die on a hill with Lathan Ransom. But if he gets in there, he has all the talent in the world and the upside to be a starter in the NFL at that position. He played, and I'm just going to name it. I had the snap count from him: 630 snaps at nickel, 700 plus in the box, and over 1,000 at safety. At high safety, it says. So he is very versatile. He could do everything you need him to do. And I mean, he was a senior. I think he was a 5th-year guy. Klotz, am I wrong?
Yeah, because he was one of those guys that could have went pro last year and came back.
Yeah, so I think he's ready to go now. Like, I think this isn't a guy that's going to sit. Like, he's going to come in, and that iffy replacement, that's Lathan Ransom instantly, and he's going to be able to give you some things. 130. I won't even go too much into Antoine Powell-Ryland because I've talked about him before.
You've been drafting him more, Boone. He's been on here more.
And this is one of those production picks where, like, maybe the measurements aren't all there, but he had 16 sacks last year in the ACC. He had 9.5 the year before. This is one of those guys where it's just like, hey, production. Late in the draft, if you can find guys that have production that can put it all together and you can kind of develop at the next level and he could be an elite pass rusher, I think he's one of those guys at 130 that you're looking at and you're going to want to take. Klotz, I took one of your guys here. This is the wide receiver pick that I had. Ty Felton. You kind of put me onto him a little bit, but watching his film, I mean, Ty Felton, he's not like your X that you need, but in my opinion, it's kind of like these other Kyle Williams. It's just kind of a playmaker. Like, that's how I kind of look at them drafting wide receiver.
His yards after the catch, man. They're insane.
Yeah.
Led the Big Ten in receiving yards this year.
He had 4 straight 100-yard games this year too, which is like, I think he might have been the only one in the Big Ten to do that. So, like, to me, it's just like, hey, BPA when it comes to wide receiver in this 150s plus, when you're looking at that, I think Brad's going to get a wide receiver. I think he's going to look at, hey, who's a playmaker? I know you need specifically an X, but like, who's a guy that can come in? And if we need, say JMO, we move on from him. Or if someone gets hurt, who could come in and make plays? I think Ty Felton has the upside to do so. 228, guys. I mean, I feel like I've brought a million defensive linemen and defensive tackles to you boys this year. Ty Robinson being the first. My next one here, I'm going Thor. Tell me this, too, boys.
Thor Griffith?
This might be the best defensive lineman name of all time. Thor Griffith.
Boone. I just Googled him. Dude's got a square head.
Jeff.
He literally has a square head.
This guy is a meatball. He is a meatball. And his name is Thor. His name is Thor. He's 320 pounds. He's like 6'1", 6'2".
What?
He started his career, boys, and he graduated from the one and only Harvard University. So he's got the mind. He's smart. He played 30 games. I got the stats right here. He played 30 games at Harvard, 132 tackles, 33.5 tackles for a loss, and 13.5 sacks. The man is a hoss. Like, he is just an absolute dog. And he played 1 year at Louisville. The really thing with Thor here, boys, and the common thing that I keep seeing with him is he is just an elite run stopper. Like, you're not running the ball on Thor. He's got his hammer out, and you're not getting through him. So that's why I think I like Thor. I think with the D-line, especially D-tackle, boys, DJ Reader's about to be up here, correct? Like, you got to kind of find a replacement. And again, you're just looking at BPA, but if this guy is sitting here at 228, you're kind of like, all right, who's a guy that has a little bit of a ceiling deep in the draft? Bring in Thor Griffith. He probably could play year 1 and year 2 because he's just so big. And he's just like, hey, like honestly, bring him in for Broderick Martin.
Wait, well, Boone, shout out Broder. He's in the chat. He said can't be on the same team as Anzalone. You got 2 Thors in the building.
Oh, hey, that's the shout out Broder too in the chat. Hey, that's the he's developing the new Thor, the next Thor. It's you know what I mean. It's his under.
Like that, Bone.
You know what I mean?
Bone.
Yeah,
it's just like Sonic and Knuckles. Now you have Anzo and you have Thor.
He's like passing the hammer off.
The hammer off over the next few years. He has 4 years to do it. And then the last pick I have, Small London or Jeff. I'm sitting there, and at the top of my board, I see Small London, and I go, I'm just gonna take it for Jeff.
Over Dolak, Boone. Over Sean Dolak.
I didn't see Dolak's name. I just saw Small. And
shut up, Bob.
You go to linebackers. You scroll like 8 names under Small London. There's Sean Dolak.
By the way, with London, I mean, I when I picked him today, I started reading more up on him.
Come on, Boone. Come over here, Boone.
I'm starting the thing that I keep reading about him, and then I watch his film. They're like, this guy he has an insane ceiling for a guy late in the draft, and like he could play. If we're talking about some linebacker depth, you know what Brad Holmes is good at?
Yup, he can play. Dude can deliver
Rodrigo.
the boom. That's
no, this is my
big
draft though.
boons.
I like that draft, boys. I think all three were pretty good today.
5 big boons from Smell London.
I would just to love see because it'll happen whether it's in the first round with Jahad Campbell or in the 7th round with Smale Munden or Sean Dolek. I would love to see Brad Holmes like add just a monster for Kelvin Shepherd to be like, yeah, that's going to be my Swiss Army knife in the linebacker room this year. Just so DC let this defense outside Aidan Hutchinson, it should be played to the linebacker room. Just because I think when you look, they're not the best players, but when you look at the most consistent players, when you think of consistent with this defense, outside of Aidan Hutchinson, and I say Brian Branch, because even Kirby can have some hit or miss games. When he's on, but there's some games when he's just a little off. When you look at Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone, even Derek Barnes for the most part, it's not high level, Malcolm Rodriguez, it's such a consistent unit that I would love for them just to add a psycho for them to just take a risk with. You know what I mean? Just like
who did they just lose?
Germ.
They need another guy in there, I think. And I don't think
I think Ezekiel Turner though, Boone.
Trevor, Zeke Turner, Trevor's there. But I still think there's still like you just keep adding in that room. And I'm with you, Klotz, a guy like that. Just get another linebacker in here in this draft. Find a sleeper.
Dude, I just the Pistons just
lost.
No, they I mean, Zach LaVine, dude,
something about him at LPA, man.
Every time Zach LaVine plays the Pistons,
dude,
he balls, dude. I mean, hold on. I got
to look something up.
That was like when we went the other night and Desmond Bain almost had a 40-piece. That was ridiculous.
Hold on.
I told you boys my Desmond Bain story, correct?
You have not. I'm a Desmond Bain fan, honestly.
You haven't heard the story?
No.
Oh. Dude, okay. Back in 2022, I went to a Pistons game with the Bulls. Zach LaVine, 43 points. I saw Zach LaVine give the Pistons a 40 ball.
He gave them a 50 ball.
Tonight?
No. He played well tonight. But he gave them a 50 ball.
That might have been the game I was at.
Pistons Bulls game, and he went crazy.
I think that was.
Yeah,
that was in 2023.
Because he gave him 40, and then he 41. Gave him. I remember he had a 50, and I can't remember when it was. It might have been last year.
I saw KD have 50 again. I had season tickets to the Pistons when I would go, dude, for like 4 straight years. I saw some of the best players in the world put like 40 or 50 up every night. It was ridiculous. Zach LaVine does it every time, though.
Yeah, Zach LaVine, I love watching him, but pisses me off every time he plays the Pistons. He decides to just go absolutely bonkers. So,
what did he shoot from 3 today?
They already locked up a playoff spot. So
8 for 11 today. That's crazy, dude. I gotta tell you boys about my Desmond. You guys have heard my Desmond Bain story, correct?
I don't think I've heard this, Bone.
So Desmond Bain, by the way, if you didn't know, his dad, professional boxer, like all time, I think.
He's built like a boxer. So
that's why I've known. So when I was a coach at Saginaw Valley, Desmond Bain coming out of high school, if people didn't know this, he didn't have a lot of offers. He wasn't like, I don't even know if he was a 1-star. He might have been he might have had no stars. And he was getting recruited by D2 schools. It was like us at Saginaw Valley. Klotz Tiffin might have been in the mix for who I don't even know. Like there was just a bunch of random D2 schools. We had Desmond Bain on a visit for a full weekend or for like maybe like 2 days. And we like couldn't even like he came in on a visit and we had to run like open gym with him, workouts. We couldn't even get in our main arena with Desmond Bain. We were on like the rec courts getting him through his workouts and stuff.
Jesus.
Yeah. So we were recruiting Desmond Bain, man. And we had him in for like, So I've helped recruit Desmond Bain back in the day. And then he ends up, what happened was we brought him in, maybe it was like February or March. It was like right after the season ended for us. And then I think he was going into his senior year. He had AAU, all the tournaments. And he had gone into that summer and started hooping. Like he like kind of took off a little bit and then he got a TCU offer and then went to TCU and we lost him. We lost a few guys like that. Your guy, Jeff, from New Haven, we had brought him in on, I thought we were going to get him to like we had offered him and we were like, we felt like we were in on him. And then he went into the state championship game and had like a 50 piece and got like every offer in the book.
Dude, yeah. Shout
I
out
think it was
Anchor Bay.
Romeo, or there was another guy from New Haven.
Dude,
there was two kids from New Haven. I don't
Anchor
know if it was
Bay,
Romeo.
I graduated from Anchor Bay. I don't know. I think I've said that before, but they played New Haven. It was it was different. It was different now. I mean, there's a bunch of
New Haven like a powerhouse.
With Romeo,
they were for a while.
They had some good players, and then Anchor Bay, we had a bunch of like farm boy white dudes, and like all like 6 foot, 6'1". Like our center was 6'2", and then
like your average Joes.
Yeah, well, and then we played New Haven, and it was different. Like throwing lobs, like Romeo's like pinning shots off the backboard, throwing alley oops to him and shit. Like, yeah, Romeo Weems was he's a beast.
There was someone else on their team, I thought, not just Romeo.
Yeah, they had another dude. He was like a It might have been a guard, or maybe he was another forward or something. I can't.
No, remember. it was a guard. I don't know if it was Romeo actually that we recruited. I think it was the guard that we were recruiting.
They had a guard who was nice too,
and he went D1. He ended up going D1
because Romeo went to he ended up at DePaul. I don't know where he went to before. I don't know if he transferred to DePaul. I think he did, or did he just commit to DePaul? I can't remember. But yeah, he was with like the Grizzlies for a little bit. I wonder if there's like a connection there.
Remember who the other guard was?
Like he went to the Grizzlies, and people there. I wonder if they like knew Romeo or something.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like there's like
I know a few people of the Grizzlies from the Glee.
I wonder if they were familiar with Romeo or something, and they brought him because he was like with their G League for a while. I don't know what he's doing now, Romeo Weems, but yeah.
And when I was a senior, Romeo was good. They had I think Romeo Weems was a freshman my senior year, and then they had 2 like 7-footers, and one of them actually ended up going to Saginaw. My boy Eno. But he went to Central and played. But they had 2 7-footers, and they had Rocket Watts. Rocket was on New Haven, correct?
What a name!
Was he?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
No, he was with.
He was in a Detroit school.
He played with Mello at like.
He played at Spire.
Yeah, and Rocket was just that dude was just.
Rocket went to Old Redford Academy. And then he went to Spire.
Smooth. He was just a hooper. And then he went to MSU, and then he just didn't really decent.
I could talk high school hoops all day, bro. I used to let Clark like.
I'm not as dialed in anymore. I used to be so dialed.
Cassius was so good. Oh man, in high school, we should get in a little bit to high school ball.
No, I love watching high school hoops.
We should go to games for sure.
Yeah,
high
school sports like football, high school football, and high school basketball. It's.
Once our showtime moves and we're not at 8 to 10 anymore, and then we'll be able to go to all games, which will be fun. Like that'd be sick.
Yeah, wow, you just brought me back, dude. That
was my life, bro. I'll tell you what.
Beat down on the boys.
From my 8th grade year until I graduated college, my life was high school hoops and college hoops. Like that was it. I was like obsessed with it. So I've seen a lot of those guys. Seen a lot of them play.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We played New Haven. I think it might have been my junior year or sophomore. I think it might. Can't remember. It was in regionals and lost. I think.
Nick P says high school football in Michigan. Is that a good watch?
Yeah, very good. Depending on where you're at.
Where you're going. I mean, there's premier teams. Like my buddy went to De La Salle. It was fun going to those games, watching De La Salle. They had good football teams. Romeo, shout out Caleb.
Trey McKinney. U of M commit. Trey's been so good since like his freshman year or 8th grade year, to be honest. My boy actually, Andrew, trains Trey. He's trained him for like 6 straight years. So hey, Michigan boys, it's about to give me a natty.
Yeah, they're getting some dudes, man.
They got the #1 transfer in the portal.
Yeah, where was he out of UAB or something?
UAB,
like that?
Yeah, dude, he averaged like 18 and 12.
Hey, by the way, shout out Broder, man. We got to catch up with Broder on Friday. That
was unbelievable.
Honestly, random cameo. I ran into Broder. It was so hype. He did not.
Yeah.
That was awesome. So,
out of nowhere, too. Out of nowhere.
Broder will love this. I just finished watching Ted Lasso, and the whole time I was just thinking, like, oh my God, like, this is fucking Matt Broder. I was like, it was insane. Like, all like the double liners. I was like, this is fucking Broder.
Broder's got he's got
the stat
bars,
too.
Man. Yeah, he's got some bars, man.
Jay Hart said Andrew who? Myers, Jay Hart.
All right, we'll get out of here. Appreciate you all. We'll be back tomorrow. So be there 8 to 10 p.m.
Hey, Ted Lasso's unbelievable, by the way.
Appreciate the support. We just hit 13K. I think we're like 40 away from 13.1. So making some moves. But until tomorrow, we will catch you all.
Guys. See you guys.
Peace.
Yo.